the argument can be made. Why didn't, from the news point, if why didn't blacks just do that? But you're saying, Davis, is because you guys fought.
Yeah,
No,
we were
he's
already
saying
here.
because we're here. Dude, you're missing his point. You as well, CT. Listen to what they're telling you. He's telling you that America is the homeland. Jews went home, right? In the comparison of the Jews, they went to their ancestral homeland. Dave is telling you the North American continent is his people's
I heard what you
ancestral
said.
homeland. Okay,
Dave, your
because
filter is
that's what
surprised,
he
Dave.
means.
What part of ancient Chicago don't you understand? Like Chicago got a culture.
Yeah.
Wait, CT.
If you want
African
to break it
American.
down like what y'all talking about, this whole thing. I don't even
Well,
know
we're not talking about culture
why we
anymore.
got to debate Afrodamus when he doesn't exist by his own words.
He's not
He's a
even
nobody.
Real quick, let me just
He
read
has
this.
Can I use
no
the
ability
rest
to
of my
know.
He's not
5
even
minutes?
talking.
Anytime, guys. Republic Room, thank you so much for the PayPal. One day I was speaking Ebonics for the panel. $5 of this goes to play the Frank's new video for 3 minutes straight. No interruptions. Go ahead, Afrodamus.
CT.
Yeah, City, can I
African
use the rest of
Americans
my
went
5 minutes? I'm about to leave here in a sec.
All right,
Yeah, go deal with the prisoners,
Hey,
man.
Kwame.
You ain't no goddamn.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
City, here's the fact, right? People,
Go deal with prisoner shit, man. Stop.
people are serious in the world, right? And when you point out a group of people running around, they look like they're grown, but they don't have the intellectual capacity to operate properly in a well-maintained, structured
You're a
society,
correctional
like
officer, bro.
the United States of America, right?
You act like you're a
So
goddamn ambassador.
this is the same group of people. The reason why people are bringing that argument is you are the same people running around here talking about how much you hate white people, you have been mistreated by them. You never miss a bit, without talking about how evil white people are. So Frank is proving the point that no,
But
this is
why
not
are
a
you in the middle? Are
Be
you
quiet,
white?
be quiet.
No,
Tell
are you white?
City, can I
Why
use
are
my
you in
5
the
minutes before I leave?
Yeah, he does have
So-
five. Dave, he does have 5 minutes, man. Hang
So-
tight. He does have 5 minutes.
So the fact of the matter is, it's just common sense. He's saying what we're observing, that's a lie. You do not hate or fear white people, because if you hate or feared white people so much, you would have left. They've even offered you land. They like to talk about Marcus Garvey. Oh, we put Marcus Garvey on. It was a British person sponsoring it, just like white people, American Colonization Society sponsored them to go to Liberia. Okay, white people were willing to sponsor the blacks, for them to leave. They didn't do it in 1824. Only a few thousand went to Liberia. Marcus Garvey came here in 1920s. He tried to get the blacks, with this British sponsor, for them to go to anywhere in Africa. They did not go. So that proves that you are not afraid. Oh, white people are not mean to you as you're trying to put it. You love white people. In fact, you are begging them, for them to love you back, even though they're loving you, but you want to be white, but you can never be white. Now, some of you cope by pretending that you are from here originally, but that's another lie that people are going to keep pointing out. And I yield my mic. I gotta go do some stuff with white people. Thank you.
Can I respond? Can I respond briefly?
Yeah, go ahead, Kwame. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead, Kwame.
Yeah,
No, you
that's a
gotta
straight up
clean
lie.
up shit from Rikers Island. Be real with people. I'm
Can
tired of.
All right, he's
Hold
gone
on,
now.
Dave,
He
let
gone.
Kwame
He left.
finish, bro.
He
Let
left.
him finish, man.
He-
Go ahead. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead, Kwame.
Paul Cuffey was a shipbuilder in America. He was a free black, and he was one of the first persons to go back to Africa. Also, you have Martin Delaney, who was before the ACS, who worked out treaties with the Yoruba tribe for land for African Americans to migrate back to Africa. Also, you have the Liberian Project. African Americans went to Trinidad. They also went to Haiti when Haiti controlled the entire island. So yeah, people have been making strives to go back to Africa or migrate away from white people in America. The mere fact that he said that nobody left America and stood by the white man's side, that is a lie. And Aphrodite lied. Marcus Garvey didn't come here in the 1920s. He actually came in the 1910s. So
All right.
that was a lie.
All right, there we go. Here we go.
Go Liberia culture, move back. 3,400 people only agreed to go to Liberia. What do you mean where to? Plenty of land everywhere. Where did you come
He's
from?
lying. It
All
was
of the Caribbean.
18,000, not 3,000.
See that in and of itself.
But I'm not saying it.
No.
I said.
Hold on, Frank.
I'm not accusing
Let me
it.
get the day real quick. Yeah.
No. See, the thing of it is, and you gotta understand, right? Like my favorite verse in the Bible is Proverbs 4:7. It says, "In all thy getting, get an understanding." You gotta understand Frank's perspective. In his mind, it's like, well, shoot, why didn't you go? To me, that's no different than when Kanye sat in front of Harvey Levin and the other the light skin boy, call his name, and said, you know, well, shoot, for 400 years, that's slavery. It sounds like a choice. Like, no, it's not. It's not just that, right? It's bigger than that, because what no one talks about is the psyop that was done to us.
Jesus Christ in heaven. God, in my next lifetime, but Heavenly Father, please let me come back another racist man. That is some weak punk shit right there. You were psyop for 400 years? What is this man talking about? God, please let me come back a Japanese or a Jew, the real Jews. Please, God, I don't want to be black anymore. That's some punk, coward ass shit to say. Psyop for 400 years? What is he talking about? Go ahead, Afis. Go ahead, guys.
Look. There
imagine
is a thing
Yeah,
known as
before you
no,
bring
there
up this,
isn't
real quick,
something
my
known
people
as
ain't
being
taking any applications,
institution.
BT.
There is no. You got to admit though, there is something as institutionalization, where a prisoner who's in prison for so long can't cope out anymore, and I think that there is a possible case for that for the African slaves after 200-300 years of living a certain way, suddenly being thrown out into the wilderness. No more massa to give them food and shelter. I mean, okay, occasionally he may have to grape your woman, but, you know, at least you know where you stand. You know, better the devil that you know than some Liberian, you know, jungle that you have no idea what to do. So I think there might be some aspect to that, some aspect of, what's it called, the whole, oh man, what is that term when a person relates to their captor?
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Exactly.
Exhilaranian syndrome.
Yeah, but what I mean is that you got to at least take into some account that some of these Africans who've been in bondage for years, in fact, they were born into bondage their entire life. Suddenly, oh, you're free now. Go on, get out of here. You scallywag. You go on. Get. Oh, by the way, here's a mule, and we'll think about giving you 400 acres or 40 acres or whatever the hell it is that they were going to give. Oh, come on. And oh no, by the way, here's Liberia. Now you have to get on this rickety.
Right, I respect that.
No, but come on. But you got to admit. Those people.
Donald Trump just bombed your village 3 months
Okay,
ago.
I respect that.
No.
But if you
Look.
in
All I'm
modern
saying
society,
is that
the first
Africans who were freed must have been scared to death of the outside world. They
Right,
must have
okay.
been
But
shocked.
I
It's a
respect
shock
that.
and awe.
Go ahead,
I respect-
Unique.
I'm sorry.
Andrea.
Thank
Go ahead, Andrea. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, I respect what he's saying, but like, if we're honest with ourselves, like, the first thing a lot of rich Black people do in modern times is like move to a white area, and we're not like this. Let's just be honest, like, nothing's holding us bondage. I mean, there's no more. You know, let's just be honest with what's going on. You know, we
Do you
don't
live
hit white
next door to
people.
white? Do you
I
live
can't agree with you, Shouty.
I live in a pretty mixed area. I do.
Can I address
always have, though.
Hafez's
I always
point?
Go ahead.
Because it's something that Kwame said,
I'm
right?
becoming
So
tired of it.
Frank is wrong. It's like anywhere from 13 to 15,000 African Americans who were freed from slavery from 1820 to 1867 emigrated to Liberia. Why am I saying this? Why do I even care? Because to your point, Hafez, no, they were much more willing to go to Liberia then, because since the turn of the 1900s, only a few hundred people from Black African American descent in America have emigrated to Liberia. So they were way more willing then than they are now.
I think
Clearly.
so. At that moment in time, sure. But what I'm saying is that I mean, you know, it could be that in that first wave of freed slaves, there would be a group that would be scared to death. Then there'll be a group that, yeah, hell yeah, let's get the hell out of here. But later on, let's be honest, these African Americans, these FBAs, whatever the hell they want to call themselves,
I
they
mean,
knew which side their bread was
I'm
buttered.
the only
You
African
know,
American here
Dave,
on panel,
Dave,
so I
you
just
and
wanna
I,
make
you and
sure
I
that-
both know that once you realize that
disagree.
there is
You're
no indoor
exiled
plumbing in
Iranian.
Liberia, that
You can't go back
there
to your
is no
homeland.
survive.
exiled.
You know, the chance of you
exiled, bro.
surviving. Yeah, I am exiled. Yeah, but I know where my homeland is.
Right.
I don't pretend to be Native American. I don't
that
pretend
part.
to be Apache.
Right. Let's get to
I'm
the
not
real
claiming
shit.
I was from these lands.
Right.
No, I
Now
know
we
where
can
my
talk.
people come from. I know
Exactly.
where my
Yeah,
people
yeah,
come
yeah.
from. I know where
Yeah.
my people are at. And my people right now are dumb as a box of rocks. They are foolish idiots who run the country like crap. And my country, which was once great, is a shithole. And I don't go around like the Somalis and the Nigerians go, no, how dare you say my country is a shithole? I have a beautiful country. Well, why aren't you living there then? Why aren't you there? I know my country's a shithole. That is why I'm an exile of my land. And I live with other people, but I don't go to there. I don't come to the English and tell them how to live my way. I don't come to the English and tell them you pray my way. You put up minarets and call to prayer because I do that shit. You eat my food. I don't come to the English and tell them that because I know this is their land and this is their country, and I don't
But why you let them
pretend,
do that?
and I'm not under any delusion that I'm one of the English. I'm not an Englishman. I'm an Iranian. I will die an Iranian. And if I could go back to my land, and if my country and my homeland was better, then I would. But I can't. So I'm grateful to be a guest of the English.
It will be
Can
better.
I respond to Afez
No. Let's talk about. We've been focusing. I just got one last question, Hafez. Do you think that there may be a breakthrough to where relations are good, to where you feel like it's comfortable and beneficial, and your talents would be used to go back?
Who cares?
Only if the Iranian Islamic regime is ousted and a new system comes into play, possibly.
Yes,
But
one that
there's no
heavily promotes
guarantees.
the porn industry.
Andrea, can I ask you a question real quick?
I would do that in Iran.
Whites made Andrea, you live in the United States, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And you've lived there all your life, yes?
I did.
From your observation, if whites made a mass exodus, let's say their mass exodus was to, there's parts of Africa that are pretty much largely uninhabited. They made a
Right.
mass exodus to Africa. These same whites, these American whites, made a mass exodus. They created a country there, or an extension of America, and said, "Here, blacks, you can have this land." Do you think FBA would stay in America here?
No, I think they will follow them there.
Why do you believe so? Go ahead.
I don't know. It seems like some sort of a symbiotic, connection. Look, like, if we're just gonna be honest, like, we all know white people didn't do anything so evil that is unforgivable and that they can't come back from. Slavery has been normal for the majority of
Human history.
exactly. You
Yeah.
get they were actually some of the first people to be like, wait,
CT, can I
human beings
respond to your
deserve
comment
rights.
and her after she's
They're
done?
people. You know what I mean? We all know that they're not inherently. Yes, maybe they shouldn't have indulged in that free market, but that's all they did. They indulged in the free market. We all know they're not. Nobody is just completely evil. We know that. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think. We all know they're not evil. Let's be serious.
TKJ with the $5 super chat once again. Hafiz is 5 hours ahead, worrying about the elite Black Americans. The European Union digital passport is your problem, not FBA. You guys have digital passports now?
No.
I had no idea.
No. It's a digital ID, but
Digital
that's
ID.
what the Labour government is trying to bring in. But no, it's not been instated yet.
Hafiz,
Chances are it won't.
Before Kwame asks with the K his question, what do you think, Hafiz, if whites made a mass exodus and they actually built up a big proportion of uninhabited parts of Africa and said, FBA, you can have this land here in America? What say you, sir? What are the FBA's going to do?
Oh, FBI's will beg to follow them. If Elon Musk takes
Africa.
all the white people, if Elon Musk takes all the white people to Mars, it'll be the FBI's that'll be bitching and crying about how racist it was that no black people are allowed to go to Mars.
Nah, Dave and his people. Nah, dude. Dave and his people will stay.
Yeah, I'm just letting y'all
You
get
guys
talking on this house, so I'm
underestimate
gonna get
them.
dropped when I snap on
I'm
each
sure
and every one of
there'll be plenty of black people who want to go with them. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But the people who identify like Dave and believe that this is their homeland, they're not going to move an inch. They're going to cheer as all these people leave. It's what happens 5 years later is the question.
Before Kwame gets in real quick, Savage got a super chat. Dave, why don't you use your talents to fix? Okay, that's personal stuff. I'm not going to read that. Security boss with the $5 super chat. Black Americans move to South Africa before it's too late. And guys, over to SBU Live and her channel. And that was an incredible video you had the other day. Thank you, SBU. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I saw
Kwame.
You know. Sorry, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, Liberia was an independent country. No outside forces built the infrastructure. They didn't build the buildings. This was strictly people from the diaspora who migrated back to Liberia to build that great country before it was rudely overthrown by the indigenous Liberians. So yeah, blacks can build countries and develop unique trade agreements with Germany and other nations. So yes, it has been done. Blacks move back to Liberia. They move back to Sierra Leone, and they develop high culture, technology, and different things. And to respond to Andrea's point, you said what?
I said, I didn't know that we. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Liberia was never colonized. It was never built by white people. They didn't build the infrastructure. They didn't write the Constitution. This was all written by black people and developed by black people.
Inspired by the American Constitution, right?
And Monrovia is the only port that can park an aircraft carrier, which
And
leads
funded
to
by
what I
the
want to
British.
tell you.
Well,
Which leads to what I want to say.
Well,
y'all keep telling black people to come back to Africa, and I'm telling you, it's going to be with our own African American aircraft carrier strike group to protect our people while we abroad. I really don't be responding to young people when they keep saying why go back to Africa, because y'all, I think, tell what you telling black people. Tell that to somebody 90 years old in Africa.
Dave, let me just lay my claim real quick.
Because you're saying bring back the Negro Empire, and y'all liberated y'all land from the Negro Empire. That was the slave trade. Y'all didn't enslave Africans. Y'all hunted down Negro to ship them back.
Hang tight. Savage with the $10 super chat. Government support. The U.S. government supported the initiative with the Immigration Act of 1819, authorizing the use of funds to establish a colony for recaptured Africans.
So they paid for it.
Jesus Christ.
Well, let me just respond to Andre and Gimpy.
Go ahead.
Western civilization was heavily influenced by African civilization, and and Gimpy too. Your culture was heavily inspired by Egyptian and Nubian culture. So
Kwame, let me ask you a
inspiration goes.
Kwame, let me ask you this.
No, right.
Hold on a second, Andrew.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. So let's use a constitutional republic or a representative republic that came about with the African mind frame.
Yes, particularly Greek philosophers studied in Africa. So they learn astronomical.
So hold on for a second, guys. Okay, guys, real quick, because this is something that okay. So let's assume that the Egyptians, and I believe that the Egyptians were black, right? Supposedly through history, the Greeks learned from the Egyptians. Are you telling me that the Egyptians, the ancient black Egyptians, had the same political structure that we see now, a representative republic? Meaning that there were one individual who represented maybe thousands of people, and they had a Senate, they had a House of Representatives, they had all of this stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You have 42. You have 42 known where you had different governmental systems with a hierarchy, sort of like a prime minister or.
So they voted. So those weren't pharaohs; those were presidents of Egypt.
No. I'm not saying
it was themselves living gods. I'm sorry, that wasn't accurate.
How about this? Did the people vote for Ramses.
In some instances, yes, it was something like that.
Okay.
So
I'm not saying it's a
the
direct
pharaohs,
1-for-1 correlation, but it was heavily inspired by the Egyptian culture. I
hold
mean, the
on,
culture,
hold on.
the
The pharaohs did
the
not call
civilization lasted
themselves the
3,000
living
years,
God.
huh?
Wait. The pharaohs. I'm not disputing anything. I just want to know. I was taught a fact that, and I want to know if this is true with what you say you know about Egypt. But the pharaoh designated themselves, every pharaoh, as a living God.
Yeah, that's
They were the
symbolic.
living.
That
No,
was a
it
literal.
was
It was symbolic.
it was we okay. It was symbolic, but all that history that shows that they literally enforced it throughout Egyptian culture, that they
How
were
so?
treated like a living, that they were treated like a living god.
So because the
They
citizens
demand you got
pay
killed if if you did not treat the pharaoh like a living god, you were put to death. It was a capital offense. That's a
so
known fact.
what about the citizens overthrowing different pharaohs?
That's
Real
not
quick,
called
the white government
revolution.
flooded
That's
Liberia.
not voting. They didn't vote them out. They didn't vote them out.
That's
That's
a
revolution.
revolution,
You're
right?
just trying to assign human behavior to something to fit your narrative for confirmation bias by
No,
saying
no,
that.
but you made a claim that is not true.
Hey, real
Any
quick. Hey, Kwame, real quick.
It's
Jihad
in the
is
history
on your side
books.
with this. He says,
They,
and Jihad, I might give you your wrench back, which is said the other day. Normally I don't get offended, but I didn't take your wrench away for that. Africa is the closest continent to Europe, so naturally ideas and influence flow both ways between trade. Now, I kind of agree with Jihad on that one, but I think he's more or less on your side when you say that the European
dude,
people.
no one's arguing that. The Greeks created a word for it, CT. It's called Hellenization. Like
Mm.
that it's the practice of the winning body taking all the ideas they like the best from the land they conquered, instituting them into mainstream culture and life in order to create a sense of belongingness for the conquered people.
So
It was
you
a
agree with Kwame?
governance technique. Of course, every culture, minimum every culture since the Greeks have been doing it, but it existed before them. It's
So it's
just
plausible to
they
So it's possible.
institutionalized it.
So it's plausible to assume that there was some level of a republic in Egypt. They didn't call it a republic, but it's possible to assume that the Greeks learned this philosophy there.
It's
Okay, Kwame.
plausible.
they document it
It's
from Plato,
plausible they learned
Pythagoras,
anything.
all of the early Greek
But why wasn't
philosophers
okay?
studied it.
I
So is
just
it,
argue that they didn't learn republic from them.
where did they learn the
Not
republic?
from Egypt. Well, Egypt was a dictatorship under a king, under an emperor.
But he
It was
just
an
said that they
empire.
learned a republic. Because
I disagree with that. I agree they had shared knowledge that they took things from Egypt, from North Africa, for sure. You see it all over.
where did
They
the
admit
idea of
to
the
it.
republic come from? Where did the idea of a representative
The
republic?
Greeks,
The Greeks, they
The Greek.
invented it.
they
So
did.
they,
Yeah.
so Kwame, do you agree with that
Whether
or
you
not?
like it or not.
You still say that they got it from Egypt.
Yeah, I would say that they was heavily influenced by the idea of a republic from Egypt. That is a
Well,
known fact.
since we're indulging
All
in
the early Greek philosophers studied in Egypt. They learned that in Egypt.
yeah, since we're indulging in fantasy, I would like to throw in my hat. I think the Persians actually were the ones who influenced the Greeks in their philosophies and in their republic, because as we all know, that Cyrus is what do you call it? What do they call it? The wheel. It is
Yep.
still quoted on the what do you call United Nations as the
Yep.
basis for human rights. So I'm
And
sorry, I
Hammurabi's
don't know. I
code.
don't know if we was pharaohs, but we was Kangs, we was Cyruses.
What do you mean? Your people, Hammurabi's code, dude. Well, forget about just Cyrus. You can go back and say how all of concept of creating law for society comes from you and yours. Hammurabi's
Hey,
code,
for the
Ivan,
Actually,
dude.
win!
Ivan,
You
with
know,
Ivan with the 10 euro. Thank you so much. Ivan says Greeks went to Egypt as conquerors, led by Alexander in 332 BCE.
that
How
is
come we learn from
correct.
you when we were always superior and more developed and organized in every metric? Keep
Oh,
Europe,
I don't know,
Europe out of
dude.
your
It's
mouth. What I'm more
Hellenization.
fascinated, what I'm more fascinated is the fact that Ivan is from the. It sounds like Ivan is saying that Alexander the Great was a great ancestor of his. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Make a
and
lot of sense.
the Greeks was in Egypt since 700 BCE. Yeah, they conquered Egypt, well, the Delta region in 332, but they have been in Egypt since at least
Well, that's
700
kind of
BCE.
well,
Oh,
that kind of proves that.
And to say that Greek civilization was more advanced than Egypt, that would be inaccurate. Egypt is the longest lasting civilization, over 3,000 years, so nobody's beating that.
mm.
Right.
Look, look,
Well,
look.
I
This
too.
whole. Oh, I'm sorry, Andre. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, like, I do believe that, like, historically, mixed race societies do seem to do better, but like, we can't have that if people refuse to get along, and then it's like the Africans versus the this and the that and the that, and we don't appreciate everyone's contribution. We're not saying that Black people don't
But
have
you brought
influential
it up first. You
ideas.
said Liberians were influenced by
Well, they were.
Anglo-Saxon and white people,
They
and I
were
just
that,
pointed
and
out
that's
that
okay. That's a part of reality. That's
yeah, and
fine,
I just
and
pointed out
vice
that
versa.
Western
You
civilization
exactly, and you
was
gave me
influenced by
examples,
Africans, so
and
it
you
worked
gave
both
me
100%.
ways.
exactly, and vice
And
versa. So
Egypt
I'm
had the
agreeing with
first
you.
But Tommy, let me
metropolitan.
ask you a question real quick. What does this have to do? What does 7 or 8 thousand years ago have to do with modern day? The modern day.
Well, we was talking about Liberia, which was 300 years ago. So why not, keep talking about history,
Liberia isn't is
talk about history.
177 years ago actually.
And, and
At
um
least when
and Egypt had the first metropolitan city, which was
no, this is
Alexandria.
you see what I hate about this we was Kangs nonsense is usually comes from a group of losers who have done nothing for centuries, literally nothing. Dude, I'm gonna. My people, the Arabs, the Africans, they have done nothing on the global
Well,
scale
Arabs invented
for
math.
hundreds of years, and it was
Now,
just a
Peanut butter.
Arabs
reminiscence.
invented
It's
math.
just a bunch
Hafez,
of
Let's
this
calm
they
is
down.
have
this. I swear
contributed
to
to
God,
global jihad. They have
look,
contributed to
Gimpy.
global jihad for the last century,
Well,
and you're
That's
okay,
fair
denying your
too.
people.
that is true.
That's fair
That is
too.
true.
Hold on a second, real quick.
They contributed to.
Egypt is a whole conquered by everyone, and Albanian was pharaoh during the Ottoman era. Oh, okay, go ahead.
There you go. No, it is so typical. This is to me these cultures, these people who talk about we was Kangs. It's the typical. It's the atypical drunken quarterback who was the big guy at college and at high school, and he did nothing, and now he's 55 years old, sitting on a bar bench, downing Coors Light and talking about the good old days, how he used to do things, and how all the chicks and the cheerleaders liked them. Dude, you've done nothing for the best part of 300 to 400 years. Get over your we was Kangs shit and do something today.
We invented peanut butter, Hafiz. Here we go.
From 1619.
Oh, go ahead.
And the air conditioner.
I thought he was talking about Egypt. Is he's talking about black people?
He's talking about
No,
blacks
no
and
one's talking
Arabs.
about Black people, Dave.
Blacks and Arabs.
Nobody's talking about Black
That's
people.
all I'm here
Nobody.
for is
Please,
that.
we don't want no smoke.
Okay, I love you, sis. You good.
Here we go. All right, let's play some more of I want to say we're only 30 minutes in. This is a really good interview.
Through 1865, and then after 1865 all the way through, right? So if you have been told over and over and over and over and over again that you're less than, that you ain't nothing, that you don't even get the right to call yourself a name, there are certain things that get lost in translation because he does not carry that particular experience. He's got his own experiences, and one of the things that I love, and I encourage absolutely everybody to go to this man's YouTube channel, because when he talks about black on black crime, he does not start and stop the conversation at foundational Black Americans. He talks about what's happening in Nigeria, he talks about what's happening in Liberia, he talks about what's happening in Ghana, and that is something that's happened throughout the diaspora. And the one thing we all have in common is that we were colonized and psyoped, but none more brutally than us. So if you think, for example, there have been writings from Frederick Douglass, there were.
This dude doesn't know what the F he's talking about. The King Leopold, according to history, King Leopold created the force public, and literally blacks were going around chopping off the limbs of other blacks. What is he talking about, man? There was some. It was all types of horrors and atrocities that were in Africa in the 1800s. What is this dude talking about?
Wait, you said
Like
Congo was
female
the first republic?
circumcision. Have you ever heard of that?
Leopold created the force public. The force public were black men who went around under his direction, chopping off the limbs of their fellow countrymen so that they could extract rubber from the trees. And if you didn't meet quota, you got your limbs chopped off. And this was done systematically. But that's according to history. So when he says that Black Americans have the worst treatment, that's really his opinion. Because you could always argue, hey man, there are people who get their limbs chopped off. But
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
I disagree with Dave on that. I disagree.
No. That just means the Congo need to be suing Germany.
Suing. That's cute.
Yo,
That's
CT,
cute.
I just feel that you're upset that you don't sign checks, man. You're just angry you don't sign
That's the
checks.
inside joke. There we go. Here we go.
Writings from Harriet Tubman. There have been plenty of people who have talked about how many people did not want to leave the
Belgium,
plantation
my bad.
because it was all they knew, and they were scared, almost to a point where they had Stockholm syndrome. The idea of going back to a place they'd never been or had any historical reference to because it had been beaten, threatened, hung, stabbed, lynched out of them. Yeah, no, I ain't going back there. Why would I? Now, me personally, I know plenty of people who have repatriated, right? And I know plenty of people who love it. I know plenty of people who get called all types of picatas and every daggone thing else over there. I also understand that there's a caste system over there. There are people,
if you're a rich Black American, you're at the higher.
You're at the top, period.
Yeah, come on.
You're
What
at
is
the
he
top.
talking?
there have been times when I have been called over there mixed because of the texture of my hair or the fairness of my skin or the narrowness of my nose.
And tell me you didn't like it. You was a damn lie. You love that shit.
Because whether we like to admit it or not, when it comes to a foundational Black American line, you can always find, if you go up farther enough, somebody who played Master got loose in the slave quarters. Right? Or as they like to say, Black Buck got loose in the big house, but it wasn't us getting loose in the big house. You understand what I'm saying? So there's all these things. And to the John Lennon point, that's ironic. And I will tell you why. John Lennon was a part of the Beatles. The Beatles invasion came about because the Beatles were the very first Backstreet Boys. The Beatles were doing what Ike Turner was doing, what Jimi Hendrix was doing, what Little Richard was doing, what all these foundational Black Americans were doing, but because they were
Hafiz. He's saying, Hafiz, you still there, buddy? Did the Beatles steal Black musical culture?
Apparently, yeah, just like Elvis, right?
I never knew that. Wow, go ahead, man. You're from that,
They did. They did. Don't
Really?
you know it's a recorded FBA historical fact, dude? Again,
Really?
you don't sign checks. Clearly, you don't sign checks.
Hafiz, did you know this? As a British?
Look, they use rhythm and blues music, of course, rock and roll, all that does originate from rhythm and blues, which is foundational American music. Nobody denies, like Elvis straight up ripped off Black people's music. He used to go to it's like documented. He went to Black clubs and listened to their music,
like biographies and stuff. They love writing about that part.
Yeah, and the Beatles came off the back of that era of music. So Rolling Stones,
Dude,
Beatles.
The Black American music has definitely inspired a ton of music, man. Like you can't deny that fact.
Rhythm
that
and
Black
blues,
American
soul,
music,
jazz.
Charlie, ask how many like current day contemporary jazz people, they'll tell you Charlie Parker, what's his name, Miles Davis. Dude, you can't, like, you minimize that stuff, fine, that's on you. I understand why you minimize it, but you can't say that it doesn't have this like echoing impact.
Right.
All right.
Motown.
Yeah.
Look, if we are to say that the Egyptians inspired Plato and Aristotle, then why is it such a stretch to say that African Black music inspired Beatles and Elvis and Rolling Stones? It's not really even that much of a stretch.
I feel that's not my claim. That's from the Greek writers themselves. They say they studied in Egypt and learned astronomical observation and different things in Egypt. That's not a claim from me. That's not a "we was kings" type of quote, as you like to say.
Kwawi, I don't even dispute really that, because cross pollination of ideas and sciences has been throughout human history. The fact is that's what makes science, I think, to me,
is
amazing.
the word you're looking for. Instrumental.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what, when it comes to the sciences and philosophy, that's what makes it amazing, is that it is truly a human effort. It is the humanity. It's an effort by humanity, all humanity. It's not a singular tribe or culture. But in the last 500, 600 years, the white man has just been ahead of that curve. Everyone else has fallen behind, dude.
All of them. And they
Hey,
told
man,
you
just because you
themselves that
want
they
to
were
suck
singing
white
black
cock, don't
music no
try to
different
force
than Elvis.
everybody else.
So yeah, it's real easy to say, imagine when you're a European rich white man with an Asian wife who has more money than he knows what to do with, who had the unmitigated gall to say he was bigger than Christ himself and not get canceled. Yeah, you can imagine that because you're imagining it behind a gated community. And the second he stepped out of that gated community, one of his own people got it. But even that is culture. When we were not allowed to marry each other, to the point when you talked about traditions, we jumped the broom as a symbol to each other and everybody on the plantation or the property, because all slaves weren't on plantations, that this person is my person. I jumped the broom. To this day, I jumped the broom with my wife. That's a part of who we are. That is unique to us. No, we don't have a language, and I'm not going to rehash what I've already said, but we have to have a different level of understanding of what has happened, what continues to happen, and how there is a global conspiracy, whether we choose to understand it or not, to keep all of us separate. Having said that, there are things that happen in Haiti because of what Bill Clinton did when he was president and afterwards. There are things that happen in Jamaica that happen because of the British Crown, right? We all have our different cultural battles to fight, but we're all still Black. However, me saying that I have to take care of my two daughters does not mean that I don't care about every other Black woman on the face of the planet. They are my immediate responsibility as a foundational Black American. Sure. My immediate responsibility is to foundational Black Americans first, not saying foundational Black Americans first and F everybody else. I'm saying foundational Black Americans first because we're the ones that are bleeding and everybody has benefited from our blood, whether they choose to admit it or not. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment do not happen with us. Civil rights does not happen with us. These very loose, very fun immigration.
Go ahead, Andrea.
No, I just want to know who was us, because the 14th, 15th, and those amendments were constitutional. That was them who passed those amendments.
You mean whites?
Yeah, them, not that, not
So it was no
Kinda
blacks. It was no blacks in Congress at the time in 1800s, 1860s.
I don't want to say definitively no, but I would assume not.
Okay.
Well, we're about to have a Supreme Court decision, so we don't have to argue about that
And
no
it's
more.
white people
Donald
doing
J.
it
Trump
too.
said that it was
It's
for
them
the
doing it
descendants of
again.
slaves,
It's
and
their
it's sitting at the
choice.
Supreme Court as of yesterday.
And it's
So,
their choice, like it was in the first place.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
So if they say it was for Black folk, then you'll agree with that?
If they say what, sir?
If they reaffirm what Donald Trump said, is this was only meant for the free slaves of America, would you agree with what
Yeah,
the
if
president
that's
has
what
said?
Mr. Trump says, I mean,
Okay. All right.
right. But it wouldn't be you saying it. Let's be honest here. Who's making the
I
decision?
mean, I didn't write
It's
the
not
laws
your
either.
decision. It's
Just
theirs.
saying,
So
don't get mad at me. I'm just
I'm
saying,
not.
would you respect the Supreme?
Of course I would.
Laws that folks are now playing and screwing all of us throughout the diaspora who are here in the Americas does not happen without foundational Black Americans. And so all of those things are extremely important to that conversation.
So what would be your definition? My fault is, what would be your definition of culture? Frank gave his definition of culture. What is your definition of culture?
My definition of culture is traditions, it's style, it's certain taboos, and taboos don't have to be a big, huge thing. Bring raisins in a potato salad to a family reunion. Watch what happens to you, right? Or if we're gonna talk about taboos that still happen but are still considered taboo, bring home a white girl. See what happens. You at bare minimum are getting talked about. Not
so he's saying that Black culture is making fun of certain types of cuisine and racism practiced by Black. There we go.
Well, I mean, they always reduce it down to food. But one thing is that man a homosexual?
No,
he said no. Oh,
No.
he's actually
He's married.
I
heterosexual.
don't know.
He's had a-
I'm seeing the same
I
thing.
question that.
But that here nor there.
Yeah, he's heterosexual. I've actually talked to him before. He actually
No, I just want to clarify because I mean, let's be honest. His behavior and his earrings are a dead giveaway. I mean, if that man does not have a secret, grinder account,
Oh
I mean,
god.
I'm a monkey's uncle.
I didn't know who the
Saying
other
that
guy
there's
is,
not an
but
old
who is this person is speaking? Like,
Jay, not saying that, the majority of
these new people.
professional athletes, entertainers, those types of people who get to a certain level don't still do that, but it's taboo. Curse while the pastor is talking during his sermon. Those are all taboos, right?
I think that's a taboo in any culture to curse out a pastor while he's. I mean, what is he talking about? See, God, Lee, this is why he's losing. I mean, I don't know necessarily if he's losing the argument. It's just two different. It's like a major league baseball player and a kid playing t-ball or something. Andrea, what is he talking about?
I think he's back on the culture. Like I think he missed what Frank was saying, and he, is back on proving that he has the culture, which I don't really think is something you really have to prove. I mean,
Yeah.
right, where there's people, I think there's generally a culture, so I don't really understand why he keeps circling back, but I don't know.
But if all your name and your culture is the fact that you're gonna get laughed at if you bring, a plate
Right.
of food over a
I'm sure
raisin,
there's right.
that's it.
No,
That's
there's more
it.
to it. He just,
No,
he's struggling to make his
I'm
point.
going by
So
what he said, Dave.
he could have
I
said
know.
Sunday
I know.
dinner or
That's why
something
these people
else.
shouldn't be trying to speak for us. That's why the modus operandi should totally be. It's 2025.
We can't
If you
speak.
got questions, chat GPT it,
We
or
can't
go to
talk.
a museum because we
Damn.
spent all
Well, why
our
don't
money
you
on
speak there, Dave?
curators.
What is culture? I mean, because is this culture
I don't know.
globally
Go to a
compatible?
black museum. We spent $1 billion on it.
Dave,
That's how
look,
I carry it. You know I don't
federal
debate this
government paid
bullshit.
for that museum, bro.
Wait. Where's the new
No,
museum?
no, they didn't, dog.
Where is
Why
Which
you
it?
keep saying
museum?
that?
Which
Which
museum?
museum is it? I don't even know which
The
one.
museum in
Where is it?
DC.
In
That,
DC.
yeah, look
Okay.
it up.
I
Look
haven't
how much
A
been.
people done
museum
put
in
into it out of their
Washington,
own
federal
pocket.
DC. Okay, all right.
Yeah, look how much people put into it their own pockets.
Yeah,
I
I'll
just think
definitely
that
Where
have
is
to look.
Dave from? I'm sorry, y'all don't
I'm
mean to
from
interrupt.
ancient Chicago. I'm right here, right now.
No, not you. I'm talking about the other Dave, the Dave who's speaking.
Oh,
Because
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who these people
Oh,
is.
you
That,
said
no,
where am I from? Who are
no,
you
not
asking?
you, my dear. No, sweetheart. No, the
Oh,
man Dave who just made that comment. Not our Dave on the panel, but
she
the
talking about the
Dave with the
Dave on the
bun.
thing. Yeah, with
oh,
the bun Dave.
okay.
I have no idea, but he needs to
Okay,
stop talking.
yeah. So CT, after you play a bit, because I have several points to answer some of your
No, just make
questions.
the point. Yeah, you go make the points now. I'm
Okay,
Yeah,
gonna be reviewing the video all
CT.
day.
Oh yeah, thank you. Because CC, I would like because I want you to play more of that like you have been like in longer segments because I just can't. I love when Frank. I love all of it, but it's like because it just makes a lot of sense when Frank comes up. But it's like Dave is basically making these points that he understands that trigger black people because he is definitely a black man. Like I'm a black woman, and I grew up. He and I probably around the same age group. It's like black people saying, when white folks have the cold, we have the pneumonia. It's kind of
Right.
like that. So Dave is just doing whatever triggers black people. I think that the way that the conservatives, conservative black people hooked onto him in the first place was Dave was saying, well, the government did this and the government, and the black family broke. But then I realized that maybe this guy is not as conservative as it seems. This guy is giving full on liberal talking points. All I hear is victimhood. Black people did not realize that Tariq came up with FBA. And he went on FBA, Foundational Black Americans, because Tone and Yvette Carnell, is her father is a white Jewish man, her mother is African American. She's biracial. They came up with ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. I know this because Yvette blocked me a long time ago when I was speaking against socialism, because she's a socialist. I think that leftism is a problem for black people, and I think that's going to be problematic for all, and when it comes down to it, but black people especially. Um, let's see what else I want to say. Miles Davis. If you do a clip of Miles Davis, when we talk about black music and black people talk about you created everything, fine, whatever. But Miles Davis was anti, victimhood. He's like, no, I don't see myself as that. He didn't. So if black people would just listen to other black people who never saw themselves as that, I think you could learn a lot. And black people, if you created everything, this terrible fall and this descent is really embarrassing. So CT, this is a great video and I'm loving the input. Thank you.
There we have it. All right.
Walking on the inside of the street as opposed to the outside of the street. I was raised, but again, my
that's black culture. No, that's what men normally do when they're with a chick. I don't like the practice myself. I mean, if I get hit by the car, I gotta die. But most men generally do it. That's not black culture. That's male culture to sacrifice our bodies for women. Yeah, go ahead, Gimpy.
Oh, I'm just saying, of course you don't like that thing. You don't want to be the tiny target the driver's aiming for.
What is he? Well, how's that black culture? I'm trying to figure out what is Dave talking about. That's not black culture.
Dude, oh, come on. You met Dave. I can't with this, dude. I know Dave just like you know Dave, man, and I sign checks. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's all I got for that, dude.
The thing is,
he's the self-appointed spokespeople for he's trying to pull a Tariq Nasheed with less charisma.
Yes, and more homosexuality.
No, Dave got kids in a family. You can't I got smoke for Dave, but Dave got kids in a family, man.
Well, no, are we talking about General Dave, or are we talking? Is this other guy?
No, Dave on the screen. Dave on the screen.
Oh,
Yeah, this
I'm
is
talking about.
confusing.
No,
Right.
This is Dave Anderson, and he's the self-appointed. Look, even Dave on the panel distanced himself immediately and said, "This guy doesn't speak for me." On stuff he was saying earlier. I'm just saying, Dave Anderson believes he is a Tariq Nasheed character, maybe even greater. I mean, we've
I just can't get over
with
his
him.
earrings. His earrings are.
my
Dude, he's a famous musician, man.
1890, and my
Wait a
grandmother
minute,
was born in
he's a musician?
1904, so my dad was born in 35. So I got a different world.
Yeah, he's a
than lot of people
songwriter,
my age.
singer. You didn't know that about him? And he writes books.
Does he
He's
play
got
the trumpet
businesses.
or the trombone?
No, piano.
Something long where he can stick in his mouth.
Really,
go back to your
big
porn
problem,
shoot.
man.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not finna listen to no musician on some nation shit.
Hold on.
No. He's a successful multimillionaire. He has businesses, like a bunch of businesses. He does a lot of outreach. And look, dude, again, I have my own smoke for him. I've had my dealings with him. I have my own opinions. But this man feels that his life represents the FDA very effectively. He has business, he has orientation, he has political activism, he has works in the community. I mean, you can argue whether you agree with all of that.
But he didn't get the memo that we don't debate our history no more. We just tell people to go to the museum so our curators get paid. We don't do that.
Well, he actually doing the work, so I mean.
I mean, Dave, you said we can't debate that you believe that you're a Native American?
Victimhood.
No,
black victimhood does not equal work. Work equals, I guess, to black people, the work equals, speaking victimhood. That's all that means. So I guess if that's what work is, here we go. CT, I love this video.
I never thought I'd agree with RR on this proportionally. I agree with her saying that we need to. If people, the days of a human.
Dave, hang tight. Okay, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry, go ahead. You got a delay. Go ahead, man.
I just wanted to ask Dave. So we shouldn't ask you about your Native American claims?
No, what I'm saying is that the days of expecting one person to be a human encyclopedia to regurgitate random facts based upon somebody asking something, those days are over. We got ChatGPT. Y'all dating yourselves.
If you make a claim, you have to substantiate it.
Hold on, because I'm getting off. This is it. And we didn't spend too much money on museums to even be trying to just tell them to go to the damn museum.
Well,
I don't get this.
Claims.
If you care so much about history and want to know what it is, look it up. We got AI and we got all these damn museums. They just poor. They don't want to pay the money.
Well, he's engaging in a debate, so that's why he's
Yeah, and he
substantiating
off
it.
code for that. He off code with that. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
so no debates.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
No
here
more
we go.
debating in history. We filed a
no more
lawsuit.
All
debates.
right, Dave. All
Yeah,
right, here,
no more.
the video.
Certain things that aren't necessarily only unique to us, but there are certain things that over time we have built that make up our culture beyond just language. Spirituality was robbed from us, language was robbed from us. And yes, even with that, with the example Frank gave, and I'll lay my plane on this. Yeah, when you go to school, yeah, they got to teach a certain way. Even when you go, I got a cousin that lives in Osaka, Japan, and she teaches English as a second language to Japanese businessmen because they want to come over here. You understand what I'm saying to you? But you have to have a baseline language. But the difference is you're choosing to go to school versus being forced, whipped, chained, bred like cattle, and had anything cultural taken from you. Even the ability to name your child wasn't up to you.
Hey, real quick, I just did my research. Half of the construction budget for the Black History Museum in DC was approved by Congress, so it's federal money. It's federal. Yeah, I knew it was. I didn't even.
Hold on, under what president? I'm curious. Can you ask ChatGPT that
Um,
for us?
Yeah, let's see.
I'm curious.
When was this? The 108th Congress. So that would have been.
Ooh, that's
What? This is a long time. This is under Bush.
yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, under Bush. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, the 108th.
So a white man. So it's under a white man. It was approved because remember, a president got to sign that into law.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Dude, my whole point is
My last
that we're
name-
never getting away from multiculturalism, whether you
Right.
like it or you don't,
Right.
because Hellenization that the Greeks started accelerated under the Romans. The Catholic Church used it for its entire religion base.
Yeah.
Right.
And then all of Western society does it to every little idea that even remotely has
Right.
life. That's what viral influencers are. So
Right. You
they're
have to learn how to get
manifestations of it.
along.
Yeah,
Right.
it's either we learn to get along or we're just going to wipe each other off the planet again,
Right.
based on what I'm being taught on YouTube, since this seems to be the cycle, right? We build up, we get all angry and wipe each other out.
My last name comes from the Anderson slave owners of South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what plantation my ancestors come from.
Andrea, I had asked this earlier. I don't know if you were listening.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen two black men fight before, yes?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I have. If no cameras are around, and if it's only you and maybe two other people, let's say 2 or 3 weeks go by, somebody can leak out. Like, let's say you were gossiping with somebody and say, Tyrone lost that fight to Joshua or whatever.
Right.
If Tyrone is around and he hears that rumor, what would Tyrone say? Now, Tyrone's the one who lost the fight, but it was no cameras. It was just
Right. He would lie.
Would Tyrone admit to getting his ass beat?
No.
Why don't black men ever say, "Hey, I was a victim, man," or "I got my ass beat"? Now, if the cameras are around, you can't deny it.
Right.
But why is it that I hear this man? Did you see the smile on his face when he said,
Right. To be a victim.
We're from the Anderson plantation. You saw the smile on Dave Anderson's face when he said this shit.
Right. It's
Why is he
embarrassing.
so proud to be the white man's punk?
I don't know.
That is some wild shit.
And I would honestly argue that it's actually getting like even worse because it's like now if you talk to some FBA's, no offense, I'm not speaking for them, I'm just saying like everyone is victimizing them. They will have a story about Indians, they have a story about Africans now, like Africans from poor nations are victimizing you. How? Like that's actually kind of sad, like what?
Really
We didn't even we're not even used to nothing, and you're telling us we're coming here and we're that's not a good look.
Why y'all using a code to describe a whole ethnic group? I don't understand that.
Kwame. You've seen black men get their ass beat growing up in school, maybe even a street fight. That Negro would never admit to getting his ass with. I won the fight. He could look like, remember the episode when Martin fought Tommy Hearns?
Tommy Hearns, yeah.
Remember that episode when Martin fought Tommy Hearns? A Negro could look like that after a fight and say, "Man, I ain't lose the fight, man." How did they ever admit to getting beaten up then? If a black man beat you up, why don't you ever admit to being a victim of a black man? Man, I find this very fascinating, Kwame. Very fascinating.
I mean,
Very fascinating. Sir.
you got a point. You got a point. I do agree that, especially the cult FBA, they do have a victimization mentality, which is hindering progress. So I won't disagree with that. But you can't use a cult to describe a whole ethnic group. I don't
Why
think that's
not? Look, hold on for a second. Look what Sam wrote. False equivalent, CT. Getting beat up is far more personal and closer to the ego than being oppressed. What are you talking about?
It's all embarrassing.
Go ahead, guys. What do you guys say about this comment right here? Go ahead, Andrea.
No, I think it's all embarrassing. Like, and completely. Sadly, it's not even necessary. Like, we were almost like post-racial, like in my opinion, like stirring up all this tension. Look, we're in a mixed race society. We are going to have to accept that there's differences. I genuinely don't believe white supremacy or whatever was actually constructed to hurt anybody. I think they created a system that was best for them. That's it. And some people do have to work harder to fit into it, but I don't think that's a crime. Like, making something for yourself, like, even I heard this one girl talking about how back in the day, there didn't used to be black dolls. Now there's black dolls. We never created anything like that for our kids in Africa. Let's be honest. Like, we barely even have parks, but you're mad that they created that for themselves. That's not a crime to do nice things for your community. Just, like, if you want that as well, then do it as well. You know what I mean? But don't create all this animosity for people doing completely normal things. Like, it's just getting weird.
Bill, thank you so much. What say you about these two? I don't know how much you've been watching, but Dave and this African gentleman. You're on mute, buddy.
Frank Zano.
As far as taking an ass whipping, I think that depends on the culture you're in, right? Like, I've had my ass whipped plenty. Can't have a face that ends up looking like this without eating a few. And if you're in the boxing culture, the fight culture, having your ass whipped is just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's all about the struggle.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So, there you go.
There we have it. All right, here we go. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, let me just say this. Now, I myself, I've decided I've become an IQ supremacist. I think anyone of a certain IQ and below should immediately be deported from my immediate space and anywhere I can associate with. There is a video online. It's a short. I'll put it on. I actually re-uploaded it on my channel. It's Algerians and Japanese people. There's 35,000 Japanese people in Germany. There's 25,000 Algerians in Germany. Japanese people, given their culture and their IQ and their behavior, are responsible for about were recorded in 2023 for 2 violent crime incidences.
Yeah.
The Algerian were reported at they're at 25,000 number. Their number is about 10,000 less than the Japanese. 1,729 incidences of violent crime. Now, the Algerians, in comparison to the Japanese, are 135,000% more likely to have some sort of violent incidents. These people, there are people who you just don't need to have around you.
Yeah, I agree. Here we go.
Even the ability to name
Are
your
we all
child
just going to
wasn't
whistle
up to
past
you.
the graveyard that Hafez admits his enemy group is Algerians? The people he don't want to live next door to are the Algerians. You hear that, all the Algerians.
No, there's lots more than the Algerians, but I mean, Algerians is just one prime example. I think personally,
at the top of the list.
every person who applies for immigration, man, woman, and child, must have an IQ test, and if they are below 70, immediate refusal.
Do you think that many people?
70? Holy shit.
What percentage of the American adult population has a 70 and below IQ, do you think?
Oh, I don't know, but again, I would I mean, in Britain we have like islands like Jersey and Guernsey and these like little islands. Personally, put all those dumb mother suckers on there, and I think you guys can probably do something on there with Jersey Island. You know, you guys have got islands. Pick an island. You've seen Escape from New York.
Never heard of
That's what I. Oh, you should watch that film. It's a great film. That's what I would do.
2.3% of the global population falls below 70.
Jesus Christ, man. Here we go.
My last name didn't come from the continent.
Watch him smile. Watch him smile.
My last name comes from the Anderson slave owners of South Carolina.
Jesus Christ.
Come from the continent. My last name comes from the Anderson slave owners of South Carolina.
Jeez.
I know
Can I
exactly
just
what
say something real
plantation
quick?
my ancestors.
I'm sorry.
He's flexing.
Can I just
Because
say
he's
something real quick?
flexing.
Yes, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was born in Africa and I came here when I was like 4. So I grew up pretty much in the African American community since I was like 4 in New Jersey, right? African Americans and Hispanics, and it's kind of crazy to me that like this whole FBA thing is going on because 5-10 years ago we didn't know anything about FBA, and like now they're claiming we built this country and we're the reason that it was even possible for you to come over here. And my whole thing is this, right? So if you guys had the intellect back then to build a country as sophisticated as America, to build the infrastructure, to build a coast-to-coast nation that it became obviously the number one superpower in the world, where is that intellect today? Because that's genetic.
Brother, it never was there. And that's what Frank Zanou, the guy from Benin, is talking about. It was never there. A lot of it is just over-exaggerated. Listen, man, I'm not going to knock it, bro. The new government needed the new government definitely relied on cotton, right? Cotton, I think, was like 25% of the world's export, or it was
up until a certain point, because
I get that part. But man,
so how do you explain Liberia?
What do you mean?
What is in Liberia? There's nothing there no more.
Guys, let me
Right.
finish.
So the
Let
free
me
slaves in Liberia went to
Let me
Liberia.
finish talking to Viceroy real quick. Viceroy, if you've been watching this interview, Dave Anderson and those 3 other guys, the only thing that they can bring up for culture is food and Negroes dancing, because that's what it really has always. That's what FBAs have generally contributed, right?
And sports.
He's never going to bring up steel, lumber. He's never going to bring up anything that really builds builds a nation. He's never going to build up shipping, logistics. He's never going to bring up electronics. He can't do it. He can't do it. So I get it, man. You know, they were great at picking cotton and tobacco. I mean, and it funded. Hold on, and it funded a significant portion of the country. It was a new government after 1789.
But let me ask
Other than that, they didn't build, bro. Like they did it, man. They participate.
CT,
Why are they?
Africans started metal iron smelting, so that
Okay, and at what scale, bro? I mean, I'm very familiar with that too, but at what scale? And that wasn't really anything that. Man, I hate to say this, bro. Africans and blacks, man, we probably, we probably were in the Stone Age.
But
man,
why are FBA so cocky and like?
Because they're cockier now. The FBA is cockier now because they see that the African is taking advantage. They see that the Indian is taking advantage. That's what that is, man. If the African was losing in America, nobody would care. When you walk in, I mean, damn, dude, are you a cokehead? Are you on coke? It's easy, bro. Damn, take it easy. Let me finish talking. So, bro, when you walk into a hospital, right? When you see half the staff is foreigners, if not more of the staff, if you see that the majority of the doctors are foreigners, man, that bothers people, man. When you see that your doctors are Arabs, Indians, and Africans, man, that might bother a lot of blacks and whites in this country that have been here. When you see that, I'm telling you, man, to me, man, like that, it doesn't bother me, but that might bother a lot of people. So then you start making up lies, man. It's racism. They're keeping me behind. Go ahead, Afeez. Go ahead, buddy.
CT, I was in Dubai in the 80s for a single day. It was a stopover. We were going, just changing flights. in the 1980s, Dubai was a desert.
Yep.
There was nothing. You can Google the images
You ever seen
now.
like the time loop videos between the 80s and
Yes.
the yeah? Okay, good. Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
all I'm saying
It
is
exploded.
Liberia has been in existence for 177 years. I'm talking about what happened from a desert
they
to what
doing?
Dubai is in
Right.
40 years, and yet they still haven't managed to make. Oh, look, FBAs, Arabs, you arrogant asswipes. Just build me the goddamn paradise that you claim that you can do. Build
Hafiz,
it to me, and I will come and beg you to come and work and live in your
Hafiz,
countries.
let me
Don't tell me what you did, what you can do, and what you would do. Woulda,
do it.
coulda, shoulda.
Hafiz,
Do it, and then 90% of these white folks will come and beg to work in your country and live in your
let me
country.
tell you, let me tell
Viceroy,
you.
real quick before you go, Viceroy.
Mhm.
One of the FBAs in that panel said, the FBA's created culture. And then Frank Zanu, the African, said, well, what is it? Man, the one kid said gospel music. I said, God damn. I said,
Come on,
you
man.
can't
Like,
make this
it's
up.
never
Gospel
anything
music.
tangible.
What are you talking
Always-
about?
It's always sports, entertainment.
Yeah.
But anyway, but Hafiz, let me tell you what they will say to your point, right? About Liberia has been in existence for 180 something years. They'll say that the US purposely intervened in Liberia through the coups, like the US funded the coups and all this, and then they'll say, you know, that's why like Liberia was on a good trajectory until, you know, but that's and I'm like, okay, but now what are we doing? I go to Liberia, I try to go at least once a year. And every time I go back, it's just like, bruh, thank
All
God
right.
I grew up in America.
All right.
It's like
Viceroy, was
Same.
COINTELPRO a real thing or is that a conspiracy?
To answer your question, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but what I will say is Liberia was strategic to America maybe in the 50s or 60s when they were trying to combat you know, the communism, the Red Scare, whatever, the wave of communism that was sweeping through Africa at that time. So I think Liberia at that time was strategic to America because it was their frontline fight in Africa against communism. So I think, yeah, you know, maybe they wanted more pro American and pro democratic leaders, and it might have shifted, you know, shifted funds towards those, you know, guys like Samuel, not Samuel Doe, but yeah, Samuel Doe when Reagan was there. But I don't think it was like a, you know, sabotage to, you know, I just don't. I think America was really trying to protect their interest by trying to combat communism in
Right.
Africa during the 60s.
Wait, Viceroy, have America ever backed any groups to overthrow any governments, like Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, uh,
Well,
and others?
what Kwame Nkrumah was from Ghana. That was controlled
I
by the
feel
British, I believe, and then Patrice Lumumba was controlled by the French.
French. Yeah.
So it's kind of why
right. I
would,
feel like America
know,
just fuels fires that are already there, in my opinion.
right? Like they
Right. They
didn't,
don't
they were not
start any
American territories or American
revolutions.
colonies.
Well, we don't want to fuel them.
Have
We
you
just want to
have,
make
have
sure our
any of
guy
y'all
wins.
read the debriefing from the government about Patrice Lumumba and how they implemented and overthrew the government? That's all I'm
From the
asking.
U.S. government?
Yeah,
No, I haven't read that. Can you put it in the backlog? Put it in the
yeah, I
box.
put in a backlog, but they have definitely financed different groups to overthrow
Who
governments.
put the bullet in Lumumba's head?
It was black people. And I'm not disregarding that black people have a sense of tribalism that we need to address.
Who?
I'm
Let
not
me
I'm not negating
Beyond
that.
tribalism, we
let me
turn
ask you
on
a
each
question. Who
other.
told Mobutu to siphon billions of dollars out of the country? I mean, if you really sit back and think about it, yeah, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend that I don't know what you're talking about. I know I've heard that the CIA was heavily involved with wanting to remove Lumumba, but it was the black man who put a bullet in him. And did the CIA tell Mobutu to steal all that goddamn money? I mean, I get what you're saying, bro, but we really got to take accountability as blacks, man.
I am.
Same
I'm
with the
taking a.
crack
Oh
stuff.
no, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not. I'm just saying that I said, yeah, I'm not saying that you weren't, but yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
even like the simplest things, right? Like, if we want to, not even mentioning quote unquote white supremacy, why are our neighborhoods so dirty? Why are our like countries so dirty? Like picking up trash from where you live
Right.
has nothing to do with white supremacy. That's something we could very easily do to
They
improve.
blame the government.
Brother Viceroy, I have done. Hafiz, you've been here for a long time, man. Thank you so much. I've done dozens of videos on littering, man. Man, I have seen Negroes driving and will throw a bag of McDonald's out the window because, again, man, I gotta say this. I think that our culture believes so much in magic that we think that if we throw it out the car, it's gonna magically disappear. Just, I'm telling you, I really believe that shit, man. I really believe it. Like, I really believe that, like, because of the low level of abstraction, nobody has the concept of saying, "Hey, man, let's not destroy this market area."
Right. I
Because
seen an African girl saying that they didn't even barely have a concept of time management in the future. So
yep,
I'm
and
like,
that's, yeah, and
that's
so yeah,
embarrassing.
yep, yeah.
That's embarrassing. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
mean you don't know about the
Andrea, could
future?
you imagine if we took
What the
over
heck?
the airline industry? We wouldn't have time zones. And then
Yo.
I'll get there when I'm there. I'll get there when I'm there. Yeah, boy.
Right.
I'm telling
God
you, man, I
forbid.
really believe this stuff, man. That's why I say, man, we gotta listen. That's why I love Western civilization, man.
Me too.
Well,
Because
well,
it's
Andrew,
CT, what about Rwanda? Rwanda is one of the cleanest countries in the world.
you know what? That's the
Oh.
fascinating thing too about Rwanda, and I've always wondered, what do you think about Rwanda? I don't really have any theories. I think what happened, it was so horrible. What happened in 1993, that I think that there's this urge to make it a better place because of the
Right.
genocide. What do you think happened?
I'm just saying, I'm just using it as a reference point to say, hey, blacks could clean up society.
Yeah.
They're not throwing garbage around the floor, and it's been voted repeatedly one of the cleanest countries in the world. So
In Africa, not the real, but in Africa, it's clean. But oh yeah, you mean in the real? Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, so it's not like we're handicapped from not able to clean up our community.
Have you ever been to Kigali? You ever been to Kigali?
No, but I have seen the pictures. I have read about it and stuff like that. So I know it's one of the cleanest countries in Africa and probably the world too.
Maybe
So
city.
No, not the world. But GDP in Rwanda is still like 1,000 per person.
Hey,
It's not
hey,
as-
before Dante gets in, Andrea, when I was in college, sophomore year, I stayed, college kids, we stayed with a whole bunch of roommates. One of my friends, he had a recycling bin in there. And another friend of it was all of our mutual friends, but the guy who was more closer to me, who was recycling, another friend of mine approached him and said, because he was like, why don't y'all litter? I mean, why do y'all keep putting trash in the recycling bin?
Right.
If this happened an hour ago, it happened a minute ago, Andrea. This happened like over 20 years ago. He said, what kind of snigger litter, man? I mean, what kind of snigger recycle, man?
Wow.
It's college kids, man. It's a college kid.
Right. No, there
He
was
didn't have a
something. There was
concept.
something to that. There was
He
something
didn't have a
deeper to that.
concept that this
Right.
can right here
Right.
probably came from I don't know, man, like a recycled space shuttle or something. He didn't have a concept of it, man.
Right.
He don't
Like,
understand.
why would we do that? No, there's a lot to that statement though. When he said that though, it says a lot. It's
You didn't
all-
understand that a lot of our material comes from other materials. Like
Right.
I'm telling you, man, we have a. This is why I love this. This is like the greatest interview I've ever seen in my life. Go ahead, Dante. You got the floor, buddy. Frank Zanu in this interview, buddy. Go ahead. Can't hear you, man. Can anybody hear him? I can't hear him.
I think he's muted, but yeah.
nah, his Wi-Fi messing
It
up.
don't say mute.
Here we go. I'll play some of the video. Here we go.
Just come from. Can't tell you the boat though.
I want to ask, like, so where did you get your definition of culture? Well, my background is mass comm journalism, and if you do advanced mass comm journalism, of course, you are going to do multicultural understanding. And in the study of multicultural differences and understanding, of course, you study how languages were developed, what it meant for people, and so on and so forth. And it's the first thing that allows you to understand how to interact when you move from one place to go to another place. So through that, and then of course my column for 13 years was life and culture. I didn't report on politics, economics, or wars. I reported on life and culture. It allowed me to study, and I realized, how would I know? I began to compare it, okay, to where I'm coming from. And I said, something went wrong. I would give me just a little bit to explain something. You know where my interest as a black man became piqued after traveling the world, when I began to hear the slogans we create, the narratives we create. Okay, I was speaking in Kenya on a university campus.
Dante, you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, so Jack Johnson was a boxer, late 1800s, early 1900s. Anybody know
Yes,
about
he
him?
was a beast.
I don't know him.
Okay, so this whole, he's FBA, obviously. Um, this whole thing about buck breaking and all that silly stuff, it never happened. Anything that was interracial, just like today, was
Right.
consensual. It was consensual. It's consensual today. It was consensual in 1960. It's consensual in 1930. It was consensual in 1880. Okay, there was no buck breaking because he was a big buck and he was knocking out all type of white guys in front of in front of hundreds of other white men.
Right.
Nobody buck breaked him. It wasn't like that. Like
No, he was
all
a
this
heavyweight
stuff
champ.
is all this stuff is like you were saying, CT, he's smiling about having a slave name and all. It's just like they're glorifying. Like these guys are boule. They want to put into our minds to keep us, to make us feel low about ourselves. So
Right.
they want us to believe that we have no history besides picking cotton. It's just
To,
completely wrong.
to what end,
And
though?
that's the
What is
reason
the
why, huh?
To make
to
money
what
off
end?
them. To make money off y'all.
Because they were our original enemies. Our any nation who does the worst to the people in that nation, it's their own people.
Right.
It don't matter what color they are. The Russians are fighting the not
Russians.
Siberia.
Ukrainians.
What?
Ukrainians, they're white. It's not a racial thing. Black people that look like us, they were our enemies, and most of them are still our enemies to this day. And the biggest way you can distinguish who they are what organizations they're a part of. So it's really not a race thing. That's one. Number two, um, well, no, I'm just leave it there. Y'all keep going.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody respond to Liberia. If
Wait, what?
blacks are unable to build infrastructure and civilization, then how
There's
do you
not much in
discredit?
Liberia, sir. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yeah. After
There's not
the
that much
natives,
anything that impressive there. I'm sorry
yeah,
to
after the
disappoint you.
natives overthrew the government, yeah, of course. But the initial Liberia was one of the most thriving countries in Africa. The blacks built the infrastructure. They wrote the
What?
Constitution.
No, they didn't. They okay, they were funded. It was a government funded. You
What
get
what
what
did
I'm
the
saying?
what
They
did the
didn't
U.S.
build.
what did the
The U.S.
U.S. government
government
fund in
paid for
Liberia?
it. They inspired it. They gave them all the ideas. They based their constitution off the U.S. government constitution. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean,
Yeah, because
what
I
are
could
we?
just circle back to Egypt and Western civilization. So let's just not use that as a
Yeah,
stillman
but
point.
n-
you're
Okay,
using it as the
look, we're
measuring
not
stick.
saying that. I'm not saying that we can't build great things. I'm arguing that together, right? We don't need to villainize every distinct group of people separately. I think that is doing more harm than good. I don't think we need to radicalize ourselves, and it's just getting too radical. So that's more so my argument. I'm not saying that Black people never contributed to the overall society that we enjoy today. No, but I'm just saying like this whole the way things are getting radicalized, and that's where my problem is.
What do you
Like,
think? What do you think blacks have contributed here in America? The young lady, I can't see her name, but
well, I would at least say that we have really good buying power, and we spend a lot of money.
so that's it. Spending money.
I mean, that's really important in America. I don't
I'm
know.
asking, but is that it? Anything else?
Look,
I'm
I can't.
asking
I
you.
don't. That guy said I can't speak for y'all because I'm a tether. So
What are
I
you?
don't want to say too
You
much.
are you African?
Yeah,
Where are you from?
Nigeria.
Okay, so you
I
don't
don't want to
know.
speak too much. So you might have to
So
ask
okay,
somebody else.
so you don't know.
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to
Okay,
speak on that. I think y'all would get
okay.
offended.
I wouldn't get offended. I'm just
Some people would. So let's just.
okay. Is there any
Yeah.
FBAs on any FBAs
Right.
on
Let
here?
them speak for themselves. Yeah.
Nah,
No,
there's no cult members on this panel right now.
okay. You, whoever just said that, what have black people contributed to America? FBAs. Do you know anything?
Well, I don't know. FBA was started in 2019, so I don't know what have FBA contributed to America
So you don't
since
know either.
2019.
Okay.
Well, you asked me about FBA, so I don't know what FBA
Yeah.
contribute since 2019.
Right. Okay. So you don't know. That's two that don't know. Okay. So this is willing. This is to me. This is willing ignorance because anybody can pull up. You can pull up right now. Black scientists, black engineers, top inventors, right here today. You
But there
can pull.
wasn't FBA. There was
Hold on. Let me
African
finish.
Americans.
Let me
There
finish.
wasn't FBA.
You can pull. You can pull up inventions patented, documented by black people here in this country
I just said
that
y'all
span 200
contributed. Why are
that
you
span
But
arguing?
200
that
years.
doesn't mean
No, no,
I
that
no.
those
just said
people
that
that
y'all
did that
did.
were
So what are
FBAs.
you arguing?
I
Yeah,
asked
those is
you.
African
Hold
American.
on.
There wasn't
Yeah,
FBA.
that,
I asked you and you said spending power. I
Well,
asked you
you said
if there's anything
specifically
else and
earlier.
and
You
you
said
wouldn't you did,
specifically, but I said earlier that y'all have contributed to the society, and you're still like.
you
I
said
said
spending
that.
power.
I
I
agree.
asked you
Just because I don't
specifically
know
what it
all the
was and you said
details, I
spending power.
agreed.
Yeah, you said
Well,
spending power.
because you asked me for something specific, I just said that off the top of my head.
Right. And
Right.
okay, but I'm giving
Okay,
you
but I
more.
said I gave you that, and you still want to whine about
No,
how
no, you're
no,
that.
I'm
not
not
giving them more.
whining
You're
anything.
mentioning
I
black
said that
people.
y'all have,
I'm saying
You're
that
talking
that.
I'm saying that
specifically
anybody can
FBA.
pull this
What are
up
you
because you
Thank
whining
you.
guys are
about?
on here
What is
talking
Thank
he
you.
about
talking about?
IQs
Yeah,
and all
you
that
said
type of stuff.
FBA. You didn't say African Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay, I'm
said
sorry.
FBA. But
Well,
you guys are
FBA is
on here
not
talking
African
about
Americans.
Well,
IQs
we
and all this
FBA is a
type
agree.
of
cult.
stuff.
We agree
All
that
you
you
have
have
to do is
contributed.
Google it.
We
It ain't
agree.
it's not a
No,
special
he's in the
qualification
wrong,
question.
Andrea, not
All
you.
you got
Good
to
for
do is
you.
pull
Y'all
up your computer
contributed. We
and
said
Google
that.
everything that we've
We didn't
contributed to this
say
country. That's all you got to do.
we
He's not
respect
listening.
it. We don't have to
It's
go
not a
over it, but we
Dante,
philosophical
respect it.
discussion.
We respect
Dante,
what you
why should
contributed.
why
We
should
said
this
that.
lady
You
even
don't respect it because I asked you specifically and you
Dante,
said
why
spending
should
power.
she care? The
Like,
point is, why should she
why do
care
I have to sit here and Google all that? I
about
said good.
FBA
That's the whole
achievements and
point.
contributions to the USA?
Because she's on a
Like,
panel talking about FBAs,
I didn't say any,
just like
but
you,
I'm
Hafez,
agreeing with you.
just like
What?
no,
you,
Like,
yeah,
Well,
yeah, but no,
just
FBA
like
was
she
you,
started in
Andrea,
literally
you
20.
said
getting
to
on here
you, she
talking about
literally,
FBAs,
no, no, no,
Hafez.
she
Dante,
literally
Just like
FBA was
said,
you
started in
getting, just like
2019,
you, Hafez,
not
you get on here every day to
1865.
talk about FBAs.
well,
That's
what?
I
why.
don't actually come here to talk about
We weren't talking.
FBA's.
We were talking
I
about
come here
Frank.
to
We're
talk to
talking about
Chaotic
Frank.
and the gang, and the conversation
His
happens to be
topic is
about
about FBAs.
FBA's.
His topic is
But
about FBAs
if
every
the
day.
topic is about gematria, I'll
It's
talk
So
about
we
about that.
can't.
But
FBAs
So
every single
this is
there's
day.
this is
literally been
You get
America,
on here
entire
and
sir.
talk about
days
it.
This
where
is
we
So
talked about
America.
nothing
We
but
have
that's why
gematria.
we
she
have
should
free
care.
speech
Oh,
here.
don't
She's
say
on
We
a
have
that
free
word
panel.
speech
three
here.
times or he'll show up.
We have free speech here. Get over it.
Yeah, but what I mean is, there's been
Get
entire
over it.
days where we just talked about nothing but Zach and his crazy gematrians.
But y'all talking
There's
about
been
So
entire
FBAs today.
days where we just talked about Jay Prince. No, it's not. This conversation this place isn't always about FBAs, but FBAs are the
Yeah, it
ones
is.
who
If it
are
ain't FBAs, it's Zach.
the nuttiest squirrel in the
If it ain't
bag,
FBAs,
and yeah,
it's
you guys
Zach.
all float up to the top.
If it ain't
I Fez,
FBAs, it's
I don't.
Zach. That's all
I
y'all.
think
That's the
it's
two
very.
subjects y'all talk about. Zach and
I
FBAs.
are we ignoring?
I Fez, I
FBA's number
Fez.
one, Zach number two.
That's fine.
FBA is a cult. It's not an ethnic group. FBA was created by Tariq Nasheed. He's the leader. He's the founder. He's the pioneer.
What
The
does that
vast
mean? What
majority.
does FBA mean?
I don't know. You tell
Can you
me.
tell us? You tell us.
I don't know. I don't
The
know what
black.
FBA.
Because you
I know.
asked a lot of
Okay,
questions. Just
I'll
say
tell
what you
you.
want to say.
I'll tell you. The black
Just
people
say
that
what
are
you want to say,
indigenous to this this
Damn.
country. Simple.
Shit,
Well,
gonna be
you're
a,
not
gonna
indigenous
be
to
a pop
America.
quiz. Just say
There
what
we
you
go.
gotta
Indigenous.
say.
No, no.
That's
That's what we mean.
No,
That's what it means.
indigenous would mean that you'll have to be here pre-Columbus. That's what indigenous means.
Yeah,
You're
we
not
were.
indigenous to America.
We were. Study
Show me one expert that agree with that.
study Asir, the Duke of Tears. Study all of the books that he puts up on his
Brother, you're
teachings.
promoting
He puts up
pseudoscience
books.
ideology.
Right.
Nobody agree.
Okay,
No
well,
expert would
okay,
agree
well let
that
me
black
ask you a
people was in
let me ask you a
America
question.
prior to Columbus.
If we put if I
Your
put up
ancestors were
hold on.
dragged from West
We'll check out
Africa
your
If I
to
reading
pull
list
up
America.
later, okay? Just put the reading
if I
list in the
pull up
chat.
books
Just
from
drop
the
your
early
reading list in the
1900s
chat.
and the 1800s,
We trying to have a convo.
would you
Just put
That's
your
believe
why
reading
nobody
if
list in
take
the
they if
chat.
they
FBA serious,
corroborate with
because
what
you
I'm saying
promote
right now?
pseudoscience
Well, no, and
ideology.
he's
Exactly. So
saying that every
you
black
talk over
person that
me because
invented
you don't want to hear
something
what I'm saying.
or
You don't want to hear
accomplished
the truth,
something
so
is
you
an
talk over me.
FBA
Exactly.
when nobody's an FBA unless they were here before, Columbus or whatever, however they call it, 1860 or whatever.
Uncle Bill, FBA
Well,
was created in
that's
2019.
something he just
Right.
There
made
was
up.
nobody claiming that it was FBA in
No,
1965,
no, I never heard of this
1865.
stuff.
Nobody, not one.
And
They
Bill,
created this
Bill.
cult
I was the only one here in
in 2019.
1865.
Hang tight, Dante. I'll bring you back in 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah, Bill, as a Cherokee, I would like to say that I actually don't. I resent the fact that you took my people's land.
Oh gosh.
But I am glad that you gave us hot dogs and pizza. So horses for courses.
One young man got up and told me how I missed the point about why Kenya is the way it is, and blamed the white man who came to take their culture and stop them from speaking their local languages and gave us Christianity. Oh, he went down the laundry list of things that happened to them, and it's still happening. So I said, wow, you are a brilliant man. I've never met anyone who have made this list, but I have only one question. Why did it work? And that is what we refuse to ask ourselves. So we always say that they did this to us, they did this to us. But we never ask ourselves, why did it work? See, I've been to Caribbean.
Give me 1 second. Give me with the $5 super chat. This guy is an angry toaster or a toaster. You guys owe this angry man nothing. He is just another subject on cultist and cult leaders live on CT Daily. Guys, get the likes up, share the video, guys. Thank you so much, Gimpy, for the super chat. Here we go.
I've been to many cities in the United States. I've lived in the UK. I've seen blacks in the UK. I've seen black in China. I've seen blacks in almost every corner of the world. And I've seen blacks in America and on the continent. And everything we are describing is uniform about us. You really think that the largest number of people on earth in terms of countries, 54 in one continent, about 10 or 13 in the Caribbean, black groups in the UK, in China, in America. And we are all suffering that psychological warfare and responding to it for years. Nothing in the world, use any probability, has ever tossed a coin and it fell on its head 9 times out of 10. Impossible. We need to re-examine us as black people. What is it? And it's nothing we are saying. Because if it is true, then there's something really wrong first with us. Let me tell you something. Korea, nobody. It's a miracle that Korea is what it is today. It is the only country in the world, or in Asia, let me just speak, that has never waged war. They call them Pakachon, inferior, by the Japanese, but Mongolians, Chinese. They were bullied and they were invaded, colonized, tortured for hundreds of years. Why didn't it work on them? The Jews went into slavery, the globe, 4,000 years in the diaspora. In Egypt, in Baghdad, which was formerly Babylon. When they were in Europe, what was the name? The Aryan race through the Nazi organization said they were. Jews are inferior. It's what they said over and again to German kids. When they arrived in America, Sammy Davis had a joke. He said he was getting on the bus in Montgomery. The driver told him to get to the back of the bus. He said, no, you don't understand. I'm a Jew. He said, oh, get off the bus then. In 1977, a black man bought a home in Westport, Connecticut before a Jew. Jews were not allowed to rent or buy a home in Greenwich, in Westport, in Darien.
Andrea, what do you think he's saying so far here in terms of the plight of other people?
Right.
And they
Right.
not only, but go ahead.
I think he's saying what I was trying to say earlier when that other guy got hung up on, specific tribes or whatever. I was trying to say that despite us having different tribes and claiming that we have different cultures, there are still a lot of similarities. Like even with just look at spiritualism and just some of the things we're willing to engage in or whatever. I just feel like we are more alike than similar. Like there's nothing wrong with accepting that. And one thing I've noticed like across all people of African descent is we don't like criticism. And it's like any super developed nation is all about criticism. Like I remember when I used to take US literature, all of their early literature was like criticizing their culture, criticizing their government, criticizing the way things are. That's how you get better. Like we can't even get past like we can't even have an open, honest discussion. And I've noticed that like across the diaspora. In
But
my
what about
opinion,
what he was just saying about how other groups of people were pretty much treated with injustice, but you never really hear them crying about it. Like for example, you never really hear Chinese crying about what was that?
Building the railroad.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Building the railroad.
No. I'm talking about the Chinese that were tortured and killed by the Japanese. It was it's a name to it. Jesus Christ, I can't think of the damn name for it.
Asian on
is that when they had comfort women?
Were they like the weak man of China?
No, the
when they had
massacre
the
in
comfort
China.
women?
The massacre in China, man. They did some wild.
CT, can I respond to Zanu comments
Man
after
King.
everybody's done?
Yeah,
His name King.
yeah, and so you never really hear Chinese saying these, like you never hear these victim stories from the Chinese, or
Right.
anything. It'd be kind of odd to hear it. Like,
You never hear about Camp 709.
yeah, you never
That
really
would
hear
be
That's
it.
what the
Asian on that
Japanese
would
did
be
to.
Asian on Asian crime.
Yeah.
CT, can I
What
briefly
does it matter if
respond?
it's Asian on Asian? What is that? Okay, Asian on Asian. What is that supposed to mean?
If it's Japanese versus Chinese, right? They're both Asians, right? They both look the same,
But they're
correct?
both human
Very
beings.
insightful. Very
So
insightful.
that's what I'm saying.
What was it? Well, what makes it different if whites? Okay.
Yeah, because
the same
somehow
thing as
according to
Kosovo.
the
The whole point
FBA's and
I'm
the
making is
Dantes, if it's
they
white
see
on black,
themselves,
You know,
it's
they see
worse than
themselves
if it's
as two
Japanese
different
on
people.
Chinese.
That's the point I'm making. They see themselves as two different people.
They are two different people.
Exactly.
It's your ignorance
But
that thinks that they're the same. Because
they look the
yeah,
same.
yeah, but it is your ignorance that think that they look the same. To
Sure,
them,
So-
they don't look the same.
Okay, so you say that
Right.
American blacks.
CT, can I respond to Zanu
Do you think
comments
that
after everybody
American
done?
blacks and Africans look the same?
They have similar features if they
Okay,
come from the same part
don't
of Africa,
Chinese
but
and
no,
Japanese have
no,
similar features?
no. But Africans don't look. East
All look
Africans
the
don't
same.
look like West Africans.
Exactly.
I know
Don't
the
they
difference
consider
between
Don't
them.
they consider themselves different peoples?
Well, Dante, I guess what
But
I
I'm
was saying.
asking, do they consider
They
themselves
consider
different
themselves
peoples?
different people, but I guess what I'm asking is that
Yes,
the
they
FDA
do.
are the only one who they still have a global crash story. Nobody wants to hear this, man. That's all I was saying. I think that's what.
I don't want to hear it either because
Yeah.
it's not
Okay.
true.
That's what.
I don't want to hear it either.
Okay.
Okay.
Dante, the reason American African blacks look the same as some Africans from Africa is because you are descendant of like Nigerians or Ghanaians or Ivory Coast. So yes, you will look the same. But what I'm trying to tell you is that an East African and a West African do not look the same. They are very different people. And it's the same with a Chinese and a Japanese,
And
or
they
a
consider
Japanese and a
themselves very
Vietnamese.
different people.
Yes, Japanese
so
and
why do-
Malaysians,
why do
Japanese
black
and
people-
Indonesians. These
Why do
people are
black
not the
people
same.
all over the world have to pretend like they're one people then?
They're not. This is the stereotype racist shit this is the trope that you have yourself adopted. It is a trope that Africans are one unit, that they are one collective. They are not. You are not. You should accept that you are vastly. An Ethiopian has more in common with an Arab than he does with you. Why do you put yourself in the same basket as an Ethiopian or a Somali? You are not of the same people.
Right. I agree. That's what FBAs are saying. We're just saying
Bob,
we're
with
different.
the-
We're not saying that y'all are that we're better than y'all. We're just saying we're different. That's it.
Bob with the $2 super chat. He says, Hafiz, we don't look like Africans, you dumb Arab. All right, here we go. There we go.
You see, kiss my ass.
It's a story
CT, can I
Donald Trump
briefly
had to build
respond to
the first.
Zanu
Of
comment?
course,
Yeah.
He lied. First of all, there's not 10 to 13 Caribbean countries, it's 26, and to make a false
He was more or
equivalent.
less saying I thought he was saying Caribbean countries with a black population.
Yeah, but he made a mistake saying it was 13. Secondly, it's a false equivalent to compare enslaved people to Jews who was given the opportunity to deal in finance and
They were slaves too.
no, slaved in. There's no proof they was enslaved in
The
Egypt. That's
Bible.
the Bible is not a source. It's a religious
Just
book.
me.
It's not a source. Second of all, he talks about Jews was enslaved in Egypt. There's no documentation. No scholar agree with
The
that.
Bible is
And the consensus.
documentation, though.
No, it's not. It's a religious book.
It is.
It's not a history book. It's a religious
It
book.
is.
Eh,
Okay.
Yes, Jews was invited to Narbonne, France, to do finance. They was introduced by the Dutch to do finance, and there was come on, like there's no equivalent to compare Jews to enslaved Africans. That's a false equivalent.
You
So you think
compare
we're
you
just
can
beyond
compare them
hope?
to them Japanese they was just talking about, man. They was getting slaughtered, bro. Every group of people then got messed up. Every nationality. Just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And it's by their own people. 9 times out of 9, it's by their own people.
Here we go.
when he became aware that Jews and blacks were not allowed to play in golf courses. Jews had it tough in this country through redlining.
What's up, Deborah? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I follow a guy on X or Twitter who happens to be Jay-ish, and he just recently got married, and his wife just gave birth 2 months ago, and he is already reading to his child every night. Education is key. That is really, really awesome. Here we go.
How you compare blacks when the largest slave owner in American history was Aaron Lopez, a Sephardic Jew? Like, there's no comparison.
We
Jews
had
was not
slaves too.
outlined; they
Black
wasn't
people had slaves.
marginalized in America. That's a false
Exactly.
equivalent.
The original slave owners were black.
We're black. We still do it. I mean, not in America, but anyway.
In America, the original.
But they
ones
were not
black.
allowed to set up businesses, so they were forced to converge and start loaning to themselves from within. It didn't happen to them for 1,000 years, longer than we were in slave or colonization. So the question you need to ask is, if they did all these things against us, why did it work? Let me give you one thing to the response I said earlier. Why African Americans didn't leave after slavery? Not because there was no place to go to. That is completely a lie. Ask yourself, the Ashantis knew that they were the most powerful tribe in Ghana, followed by the Airways, the Gans, the Chuis, Akwamus, everybody. They knew that they didn't form the country Ghana, that they were forced, okay? But it came to an end. For Ghana, 1957. Why didn't they go back to become the individual tribes they were? Was there anybody there telling them you can't? No. Do you know why they stayed as a country?
What?
They were attracted by the bling the colonial left behind. The roads, the hospitals, the schools, the post office, the fire department, the buses with air conditioning from London imported to their country, the railway lines, all the beautiful things. Why didn't you live here? It's not because you don't know where to go. It's because you didn't hate the white man and you weren't afraid of him.
I think you're eliminating the fact that we built blood, sweat, tears, deaths, so much. We are the biggest innovators. We built America. Why give up everything we built?
Here it comes.
That's facts.
America wouldn't exist.
You say it's facts, Dante?
That's facts. That's where
Did
that's where I disagree with everybody here. So y'all don't think we did.
What did African Americans build in America?
Pull
What
it up, bro.
infrastructure? What cities?
Let me pull.
Name something.
Bro, I will put it.
Slaves took orders, bro.
I put the
If you want to say slaves pick cotton and they build the
Hey, Dante,
railways,
real quick. There are
that's what
over
slaves
1
do. They take
Dante,
orders from masters.
There are over 1 million buildings in New York City. What percentage of those buildings were built by blacks?
Irish people did that.
It depends on what year.
Now, I'm not even talking about skyscrapers. I'm just saying, just all of those buildings. What percentage?
Probably
Lots of
including
Germans.
blacks. Probably all.
No,
of them.
no. Just blacks. Just blacks.
Just none of the buildings.
Blacks
were
built
by,
the building.
hold on.
They own the building.
None of the buildings were built by just anybody.
Okay.
It's always been a mixture, and blacks have always
But
been
you
part
said
of it.
blacks built America. So how did it? So name what they built. What city? Name a city they
Man,
built.
listen,
So blacks
all
help
you
build them. So
hold
blacks
on,
help
all
build
you
They
have
America.
to
help build.
do.
So
I'm a
Dante,
lap.
so Dante, you mean that blacks help build America?
This
Name the
current ver-
banking
the hold on,
No,
institution
Kwame,
blacks
hold on,
Kwame,
had
hang
hold on.
tight.
that.
Kwame, hang tight.
The current civilization of America that we're in, yes, they helped build it. They didn't just build it by themselves. The one before that, they did. But let's talk about this one right now. They've always been a part of the infrastructure of this current America. Still to this day, they are.
Sure.
It's not,
That's
you know what I'm
fair.
saying?
A
Like
part of it
so,
is fair.
To a
to the
12%
Part
guy,
of
margin.
it.
I can't see your name, but all you gotta do, man, I've done this before. Just Google black inventions. Google
Oh,
top
gosh.
black
Huh.
engineers and
Really?
Can we
scientists in
just
2025. Not in
Does that mean that those
1947,
inventors were
2025.
FBA?
Just Google it.
right?
And
It don't.
it'll tell you what we
I didn't
do.
hear this
You
FBA thing
guys,
till like last year.
here's the problem I have is you try to act like blacks
Bill, it's
have
a cult.
absolutely
It's just a
contributed
cult. FBA is
nothing
just a cult.
besides singing and dancing and running and jumping. And that's not true.
Dante, can you name the
Just
city that
Google it,
blacks built
bro.
in America? Name the city.
I just explained it to you, man. Were you not listening? I
You
said this
just said a
current.
Then
bunch of
how do you
barbecue
say,
Okay,
raccoon
okay.
babble.
Let
I
me.
want to know the city
I'm a
that blacks
boil it
built.
down. I'm gonna boil it down to like 10 seconds. This current civilization that we're in right now was built by everybody, including
Right.
blacks. If you
okay,
want to look up what we
Including.
contributed
It was a
specifically,
collaboration.
all you got to do is type in something
hmm,
easy like top 50
Dante,
black
are you saying
inventions.
slaves built
So you
America?
want? All right, interrupt me. Go ahead.
Are you saying
Go ahead.
slaves built America? That's what you're saying. Because
No,
No, he
no,
this
finally
no. We
current,
admitted
weren't
that it was a
slaves, dude. That's what I'm trying to
collaboration.
tell you. We weren't
Dante, this
slaves,
current America we live in, it was built by the Industrial Revolution, not by
dude.
cotton picking.
But hold on. Is that what I said? See,
You
you're ignoring everything I said, then you're interrupting me and you're telling me something completely different. So you're not listening to me. I didn't say anything about cotton, man. What are you talking about?
so name the cities that blacks built in America.
I'm not blacks didn't build no cities in this current
Right.
America. I just told you it was a collaboration of
A
whites and blacks
collaboration.
mainly.
Right.
But hold on. Also, when the Asians got brought in here on Ellis
Right.
Island, they all helped.
Collaborated.
But
But I guess the problem is that
what you want
oh,
Is that one
but
group of
y'all want
people is
people to
trying to
believe
say that they did
the
it
only
all by
problem I have with
themselves.
y'all want people to
right?
believe that blacks contributed nothing besides
No,
singing and
we don't.
dancing.
We want
No,
us to
to
be
a
realistic.
that's not
12%
the argument.
margin.
That's
You're
not the
We
probably
argument.
want us
part
to
of
be
everything.
realistic, not
The argument is
delusional. That's
that
all.
if you listen to the words of this guy, he says that we built America. That
Right.
means that we
Built it.
solely. He didn't say we participated, we helped.
Right.
He said we built this nation.
Exactly.
That's what he said.
Exactly.
Now I'm just going by what he
Yeah.
said.
That's
It's it,
cool.
he,
That's
look.
cool.
The way he made out was as if the blacks were gonna leave to another country, they're gonna say like, okay, I'm taking this pillar from the White House because my ancestors built this one. I'm gonna take the bricks from I don't know this
Okay,
building,
but so we
this
got two
Capitol
over
building.
exaggerations. We got him saying that it was only us that built it, but then when y'all are trying to act like we didn't contribute nothing besides dancing,
To a
singing, and
No,
12%
we
basketball.
said it was
margin.
collaborative. We said it was a collaboration.
Dante,
He's the
you
one
just
saying
said
that
Okay,
they did it by himself.
Does my
That's
mic
what we've
work?
been
Andrea,
trying to
Yeah,
say.
it worked. It worked. Yeah, it works, Bill.
Our
this is
whole
this is
our
the
whole
first time I've
Okay,
ever
argument
heard
is
it.
that
thank you.
our
This
whole
is the
argument
first
is
time
that
I've
this
ever heard that on this
radical
channel.
FBA thing is driving a wedge when we should be focused on collaborating and trying to be the
Dante,
best.
you said I'm
Like
paraphrasing
we
what you said.
agree.
You agree with Dave saying that your cult FBA built America, and
Hang
all
tight,
I'm
guys.
asking, can
Bob
you
with the
name
five
the
dollar
city?
Bob with the $5 super chat. If we didn't have blacks, the economy would be 20% bigger, and I could retire in 5 years instead of 10. Wow, come on, man. What the
I
hell is
don't
that?
agree. We buy everything.
Yeah.
We buy up
Bob's
everything. That's not true.
Bob's cruel. But look. One thing I will say, and Frank said it. Frank said it. They just didn't want to hear it. That the reason the black slaves didn't leave is because they liked the infrastructure that was left that was there. They liked the fact that they could have this standard of living and this kind of life. And by the way, in those years, America wasn't the great power that it is now. The American superpower came only about after the Second World War. America was like mid-ranked country back then. So it wasn't even that big a deal, and yet it was still so much better than going to some godforsaken, nowhere in like Liberia or wherever to just build a nation from scratch. It was better to live in a rented apartment in New York. But it was better to live in a rented apartment in New York than a mud hut in Liberia. So they took that.
Here we go.
And you weren't afraid of them. I think you're eliminating the fact that we built blood, sweat, tears, deaths. So much. We are the biggest innovators. We built America.
See, that's where. See, so
it's so extreme.
So there's nothing to interpret here. He literally is saying that we were solely responsible. He said we were the biggest innovators. I don't agree with that.
Now ask him, what did you invent? Let's run a list. Let's run a list of the things that the blacks in
Dante, your mic, man, bro. Dante, your mic. I know you're trying to talk your mic. There's something wrong with your mic, buddy. Here we go.
Why give up everything we built?
And he's not even really black, to be honest. Oh, damn. What did I just do? Hold on. What did I do? I must
the right of black. If you think, for example,
wait a minute. I don't know what I did.
Person is my person. I jumped the broom to this day. I jumped the broom with my
fair and responding to it for years. From London imported to Duff. Why give up everything we built? America wouldn't exist off the pains and struggles of Black Americans.
Oh, wow. America wouldn't exist if blacks weren't here.
Yikes. Exactly.
Dante, come on. Go ahead. What do you think about that, Dante? I can hear you. Okay, let's keep playing it then.
I'm sorry, dude. This is
Dante
like
can't even build a Wi-Fi connection.
Extremism.
All right, here we go.
You don't just give that up. We also, if with asking your question, we do also ask, why didn't Africans or other Caribbean people or other nations join us and make us a bigger nation in America? We built it.
What?
Everything came off our death.
And every time can I just pause for 10 seconds? This man in the colorful shirt immediately disqualified himself when he said, I asked. That's it, sir. The conversation is over. You are now disqualified from talking any further.
Okay, here we go.
It was destroyed, burned down.
Like where?
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait. I got this one. Don't worry. Wilmington, North Carolina, Eatonville, Rosewood, Tulsa,
professional
Philadelphia, Chester, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, North Carolina, Blackwood, South Carolina.
Jersey.
There were plenty of places.
Oh, I wish I could be here. Oh, I wish I could be on that set with them. Because I would just argue, look, how come they didn't burn down Harlem? How come they never burned down Jackson, Mississippi? How come they haven't burned down Memphis, Tennessee? How come they haven't burned down East Cleveland, Ohio? These are 99% black cities. Why haven't they burned them down? Why didn't they burn down Detroit when all those Negroes, Hafiz, were making tons of money working for the automotive industry, and they literally took over the city in the 40s and the 50s? Why didn't they burn it down then?
All right.
These people were buying the whites essentially left Detroit, and these blacks had all types of big homes and stuff. Why didn't they burn it down then? Why didn't they burn it then? Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. I mean, not buddy. I was looking at Bill, but I said Andre. Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead, Andre.
No, I was just listening. I was agreeing with you.
Go ahead, Dante.
They did burn down Detroit, CT.
Go ahead. Tell us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Great Fire of Detroit, and just Google that. But the other guy, he just listed a whole bunch of cities. So those are some of the cities. Kwame.
Those are towns. Those are the cities.
Okay. Well, those are towns. Okay.
Yeah. They wasn't metro. They wasn't metro cities like New York or Los Angeles or
They were like
Miami.
metropolitan
The
areas.
San
Yeah, there was a
Francisco
metropolitan
fire
areas.
that burned all the way to the ocean.
So are you saying that there were no stone buildings, no, like, for example, classical Roman architecture? What are you saying, Kwame? Like there were no. What are you saying here? They didn't.
Nah.
Said it wasn't a condensed metropolitan city. These were
What was
towns.
it?
Also,
Yeah,
if
Not
they
I'm
to
had
not
they had
mistaken,
minimize,
every
I
not to
mean,
they
if
had
minimize
now,
any of it.
now here goes my argument.
they had
Whether it was
everything in
mud
the
huts or
50s.
not, if it was destroyed by an outside source, it was bad. So
Right.
that's always been my argument. I don't care if it was a mud hut.
Yeah, not to minimize anything.
Yeah,
It
not to
wasn't mud. It
minimize it,
wasn't mud huts. I
but
mean,
hey, but Bill,
there's
when I was a
footage.
kid growing up, you would have thought that Black Wall Street had skyscrapers the way that we were taught. We were like, wow, they really burnt down the skyscrapers? Yeah, go ahead, Dante. Go ahead.
They had oil wells.
They
What
probably
are
did. I can believe that. I can
what
believe
are
that.
skyscrapers for?
You're
Business,
asking me what are skyscrapers for?
Yeah, what is it for?
Real
dense
estate.
They use
populations,
them for
work.
multiplicity of purposes.
Yeah, to use it for a bunch of
a
cubicles for
multi-purpose building.
different
Yeah, work.
businesses. Okay,
Oh, twice.
Usually
this is
work.
something that's recent. And they weren't.
Yeah.
So
Nobody
we
was
didn't
building
have
skys.
businesses.
Nobody
So
was
we
building.
didn't have businesses.
Nobody was
Eatonville
building.
is my city.
Nobody
Thank you
was
so much,
built.
Antoine.
Nobody was building skyscrapers back then. If you don't need them,
Right, we didn't have those things.
if you got 10,000 people in a city, what you need skyscrapers for?
Yeah,
They
Heard that.
built what they needed, and
What
some
they
of their
needed.
and check this out. Some of their buildings are 150, 200 years old and still around.
That's
You can't
awesome.
build you can't build no there's skyscrapers now that were
I
built
thought
in
it got burnt
there's
down.
skyscrapers now that were built in the 50s that are breaking down. They can't use them no more. They got buildings from the 1890s in
But
black
how are they
cities
still there if
that
they
are
got
You
still
burnt
know,
there.
down?
Dante.
Hold
Sorry,
on,
you
hold
know,
on.
Dante. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
I'm lying
It's
about
precious.
that. I'm
It's
lying
precious
about that.
that
Am
No,
I lying
I'm
about
just
that?
Americans, you
confused how
guys
they
talk
could still
about.
be there if they were burned down.
Andrea,
That's
am
No,
I
what I'm
no,
lying about?
no,
So
confusing.
I'm lying
no,
about that. Am I lying
No,
about
no,
it's
that?
no.
just
Dante.
you have to explain how they can be there and be
Okay,
burnt at
let
the
me do
same
that though. Let,
time.
let
No,
me
no,
let me
Dante,
explain it.
Dante. I think it's precious. It's precious that you
You don't
Americans
want to let me
think you
explain
have a
it.
building
Okay.
that's been there for 200 years. It's like
Right.
some achievement. I have
can send
pubs
I
in
can send a
London
video.
that are
1,000 years old.
older than the
If you don't
United
believe me, I'll put a
States.
video in there.
I
I'll
can
put a
take
video
you
up.
to a pub in London that was built before the United States, before Columbus discovered the Americas. That pub was standing.
That's a joke. Or, I mean, what's that? What's the
The
relevance?
fact is that you think that it's an achievement that you have a building or some building that's 200 years old. It's like a thing. That kind of shit is like everywhere here.
Wow. What's so funny about that though? I don't understand. This is the point I'm making.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
but Dante, you
This is the point.
comparing
This is the point I'm
towns
making.
to
The point I'm making
building
is
America.
he was
Those
trying to.
towns didn't really
Kwame was
contribute
trying
much to
to
the.
say that well it wasn't metropolitan and all that. It wasn't metropolitan because they didn't need to be metropolitan. If there's no need for skyscrapers, there's no reason to build them. But what they did build
Dante, what's a
was
metropolitan
what they
city? What's the
did
definition
build
of it?
was
Right.
was
It's not
was
a flex that we didn't
intricate
have
and
that. That's not
detailed,
a
and it
flex.
lasted. Unlike
And it all started over some coochie.
today's stuff that's built, if it's built in the 50s, it probably
You
ain't
know,
lasting right
pussy and
now.
pride has
I feel
caused
like it's
more
not really a
wars
flex to
than
say that
anything
we
else in
didn't need
history.
it.
I think the difference is that, and this is the difference in culture,
They
Dante.
needed oil, so they
Dante,
built
I
oil
agree.
wells.
I agree with everything you just said because there are practicalities in life, right? So they are. I've said this book 1,000 times, "Guns, Germs, and Steel" by Jerry Diamond. He talks about some of these things, but like environment is pretty much environment. I guess curates your viewpoint of reality, but I guess the difference in culture is that a lot of these FBAs that Frank is talking to is the whites, from my perspective, they're like adventurers or something. Like they have like this adventure risk taking spirit. I'm gonna read that. Thank you so much, Bill. They have like this risk taking spirit, right? So they're willing to work 50 stories up to put a steel I-beam in. They're willing to say, you know what, we're probably gonna have about 3 or 4 of you get killed this year, but we're gonna still build this. I think like to me, I prefer that culture.
That's smart to you.
No,
Killing people to build something.
now hold on for a second. Now I did not disagree with you. I literally agree with you. I said that yes, mud huts probably do fit a certain level of practicality in a hot ass. Let me read the super chat real quick. 'Cause I actually hold on. Let me read the
There
super
was
chat.
no mud huts, man.
Let me read the
What,
super chat, buddy. Let me
what
read
y'all
the
talking about
Astro
mud
Hustle
huts
says,
for?
small towns have maybe one local bank and local mom and pop store, just like Mayberry. I love Mayberry too. I love the Andy Griffith show. They should have had at least one black. I think it was a black person that was on there one episode.
Okay, what does
Okay,
it
so
have to do with what I'm talking about?
Dante, let me. Okay,
It wasn't one
We're ta-
bank. It wasn't no mud huts.
Dante, I'm not saying that Black Wall Street had mud huts. You didn't even give me a chance to finish what I was saying.
Okay.
Frank Zanu, this African, is arguing about culture, and the FBA's on that he's talking to are saying that culture is just fried chicken and collard greens and the way they talk. Right? Okay, that's fine. But he's trying to really convey the point that culture is a world view. Is how you think. What I've seen, bro, is that whites tend to be adventurous. They tend to take a lot of risk to say that this is what man can be capable of, right? A lot of other men, I don't see this. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but the fact that somebody said, let's build up into the sky. Now, somebody like you back then would have said, well, why we got to do all that? I mean, we're
All we
fine
need
the
is
way that we are.
oil.
We're fine the way that we are. And I don't disagree with you. Hey, we're fine the way that we are. Why do we need to build up? Well, because
60 people.
it shows the world our engineering capability, our cooperation, the fact that we can build this thing that looks like it's in the heavens, right? I can understand that. And that takes a lot of adventure. And that's why I think that culturally speaking, whites tend to have this yearning for adventure. Like they're willing to go across the seas in a wooden boat. They're willing to say, probably half the crew is going to die of scurvy, and they're willing to say, I don't care, buddy. Like, dude, when I went skydiving, bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm not saying that these whites were doing this, but I felt like the whites, they're probably they really treated us. I'm not saying that they treated us nice because we were black. I don't know, but I felt like they were like, wow, black people are here. I mean, because they're probably skydiving all goddamn day with just boring white people, and they're like, wow, man, black people are here. And so I get what you were
really.
I thought it was mean.
Really? They were like, oh wow, we got some black folks here today.
Yeah, I felt as though that they were
do
probably
be excited to see
nice.
I'm sure that
Like,
bothers
wow,
you
black
half
people are
as.
here. Come on, guys. But here goes the thing, Dante. I get what you're saying, bro, but that's what I believe Frank Zanu his message is trying to convey. Like, that's the culture that really built the planet, that adventure spirit. The fact that somebody said, let's go to the moon. Now, I know people are going to say that we didn't go to the moon, but like the idea that we can do things that are greater than what our perceived human ability is to be. I get the whole practicality purposes. A little town of 10,000 people probably doesn't need a skyscraper.
But the one guy's arrogance says, let's build the biggest building we can.
Right. And let's build a railroad track and an airport, and let's get tourism here to build the city up. That's the white mind to me. The white mind is that, right? That's where you get all these robber barons. I mean, you're a smarty arty, Dante. You know what the robber barons were. These were smarty arty whites who had a lot of money, and they said, let's go throughout the country and build up a railroad system, and let's build these towns up. And I think that's the culture that a lot of people really want. Brother, I don't want to live in a small town, man, with one-story buildings. Brother, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not saying that the blacks, they built. I'll admit it. They probably did build those buildings. But they never built at that scale, man. They didn't have that kind of vision, bro. And they didn't do it. So that's what I get from it. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so you've been in skyscrapers?
Yes.
CT?
Yes,
okay, what did you do there? Sit at a computer in a cubicle?
I've been in skyscrapers.
So you think there's no point?
I've been in skyscrapers for
I'm just asking
reasons.
what,
I've been in. Well,
all
let me
the people
finish, bro.
that died.
Sorry, let me finish, Dante. Jesus Christ, bro. I don't disagree with you, Dante, but let me finish.
I know.
I've been in skyscrapers for work. I worked in a skyscraper or two, not in a corporate job, but government. I've gone inside skyscrapers. I had my own office one time in one. I had a studio in a skyscraper. I've gone in skyscrapers just to look at the architecture. Some of them, just
Yeah, it's
depending
the
on
tourism.
Yeah, for tourism. Yeah, yeah.
60
London,
people died
there are
building
plenty
the
of them.
World Trade Center.
That's
Real
60
quick,
people.
Chris with the $5 super chat. This is why Star Trek could never be created by a black. Black people aren't adventurous or forward
Black.
thinking. Jesus Christ! Shout out to
Look,
Gene
look. One
Roddenberry
thing
for
I
being
will
the white
say,
man that did it.
there is something about the European Anglo-Saxon mind, or the Germanic European mindset. There is something about their abstract thinking, which I don't even think, even though the Asians and the Jews have the higher IQ, they
They're not the
don't
risk
seem to.
takers.
Yeah, they don't seem to possess that risk-taking element and that
Yeah.
abstract thinking, out-of-the-box thinking element that the Anglos and the Western Europeans seem to have.
As
And
someone who's
so,
had a lot of dangerous hobbies and jobs, there's not a lot of colorization
All you have to do,
in
is look
those
at any
I believe you.
ways
documentary
to kill yourself.
Dante,
I believe
any
you.
nobody's
documentary
disagreeing with.
of I know, but any documentary of ancient civilizations shows the advanced technology that they
Like,
had.
there's
This
not a
has
lot of
been
black base jumpers.
this
We
has
didn't even
been
have two-story
happening for
buildings.
thousands of years.
Hey, Bill, you
What?
just said something. Hey, Dante, I want you to hold your thought real quick. Dante, I want you to go back to that. Bill, you just said something very interesting. There's not a lot of black base jumpers. If there's any one base jumper on the planet that's black, Bill, do you know the death rate for base jumping?
Yeah, I do.
It's I used to watch what's my guy's name?
Bro, that's stupid.
Jeb Corliss. You ever heard of him?
Oh,
Jeb?
yeah, he's not here.
No, he's still alive. If I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
that's
Jeb
not the one that was in the squirrel suit. Never
I'm pretty
mind,
sure.
wrong guy.
No, yeah, Jared Corliss. Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. I'm looking. Yeah, he's 49 now. Man, when you talk about a motivation, the way he talks, he says, "Listen, I couldn't work a 9 to 5. I couldn't be in these environments. I need to do risk taking stuff." And when you watch his skydiving videos, I'm not about to be motivated to base jump, but it made me think about other things in life that that I put limitations on. That I said, man, maybe let me be like Jeb Corliss and make this jump. Now it could be anything in life, like
Right.
betting
Crossing
on.
the street to ask that girl,
Yeah, and
for her
so
number, anything.
and so listen, I think per year is about 50 of these people who die, but
Yeah.
they base jump so that men like us can take adventures in other avenues in life.
Right.
Anything that
that's
inspires you.
That's the European mind frame. It's
No.
wild.
No,
to me.
literally.
So men like
No,
y'all,
literally.
Dante, hear me out for a minute. I'm not done talking, Dante. I know I'm not disagreeing with you, Dante. Do you know how long it takes to climb Mount Everest? You went on mute, buddy.
Weeks.
It takes weeks to climb Mount Everest. Can you imagine the idea you're walking past frozen dead bodies that have been there for 50 years? Can you imagine not being in civilization for weeks on a mountain? Brother, these people, man,
they're extremely brave.
They're extremely brave, man.
Yeah.
That was fair.
And
That was the answer.
That's the culture that Zanu was trying to say, that other people okay, go ahead, Dante. You keep shaking your head. I mean, go ahead, buddy. Jesus Christ.
You can actually get a helicopter right now to the top of Mount Everest.
No, I didn't know that. I don't.
Skip
Are you
all
for
that.
real? Well, what about
If the weather is good, if the weather if it's pretty close. I mean, obviously the summit is on. I don't think you can actually get to the summit anyway. It's unclimbable.
No,
but generally, you can get relatively up
Even
there, and you just have a little tour, come back down safely, and live your life.
Hey, the problem I have with
Fly a
Dante
plane.
is this.
You could just fly a plane around it, get a good look.
The problem I have with Bill, the problem I have with Dante is this. We don't bat an eye when we say that the best sprinters are black, which they are.
Right.
Nobody bats an eye. Nobody bats an eye if I were to say that I am
people-
more likely to be able to tomahawk dunk from the free throw line than 6'7" Bill. Nobody bats an eye when it comes to sport, but somehow Dante, he has to argue this point. But anyway, go ahead, Andre, and then let's get savage in it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it reminds me of what I was saying earlier about slavery. Like, it's crazy the way the whole story got twisted. Like, these people actually sacrifice human lives to go fight in on a whole nother continent to end something that really didn't have anything to do with them. So it's like Let's just be honest with what actually happened. It's just the lies is just it's ridiculous.
Seven still says, I love when you speak like this, CT, taking the leap, thinking outside the box. And Sire says, CT, go climb Mount Everest. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I think in the
I
past
wanted to when I was
100
young.
years, I think it was, what is it, Bill? Like 80 something, 90 something people have died. It might be even more than that.
Oh, probably more.
Yeah, it might
Especially with they lost like 20 something here in the last.
I've heard
California.
Kilimanjaro is a little bit easier to do.
Yeah.
That's
Well, there's the big 6 or 7.
340 people have died attempting to mount
Damn.
to get to the
To
summit.
summit Everest.
That's
350 people.
And just because
And their
you make
bodies are
the
still
summit
there.
doesn't mean you survive going down.
Yeah, 777. We are being very peaceful here. We're having a good show today. Please, no sexually explicit jokes, commentary, and please, well, you don't really use the N-bomb, so let's get Savage in. Savage, what say you about Frank Zanu and Dave Anderson in this debate? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, CT, first I want to state that if you were to climb that mountain, instead of it taking you weeks, it would take you a couple of months since your legs are so short.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Yep.
Second, so CT, have you ever heard about the Viking gene?
No, but I can assume it's probably. Go ahead.
That's a warrior gene.
Well, no, I'm not the warrior gene. So if you look at the genetics of the Vikings, there's a mutation that ends up happening that shows up in their descendants now, to where their hands start to close and they can't open their fingers, and they have to have surgery to be able to use their hands. Do you know why this mutation happened?
No.
The webbing in their hands closes.
Yeah.
Why?
So because genetically, from the Vikings being on boats and rowing constantly to go places, over time they got a disease or a mutation in their chromosomes that there's a trait where that happens.
Okay.
So if you Google it right now, that is, you can look it up. There are people today that their ancestors were Vikings and they've never rowed across the ocean, but their hands get messed up and they have to have surgery from it. So unfortunately, like Dante's trying to make a claim, like when you live in a cold climate and you have to prepare for the future and you have to go and get resources, you're going to have a different outlook on life. The person that lives somewhere where they can walk and grab fruit off a tree is going to have a different outlook on life. So it's crazy to say that like this can't be inherited group.
Let's play some more of the video and then let's get Afro Nerd in. This is like the interview of the week, maybe? I don't know.
Anytime we had any infrastructure, two things happened. They decided to integrate it. Look at have you been to Central Park?
Mm-hmm.
You know what Central Park is, right?
It's a park.
No, it's not. Central Park was actually a place called Seneca Village.
Now that's true. That is true.
Was when freed black people decided to converge in one area, and they decided to redistrict that area, even though they own.
That is true. Now that is, you know, and listen, I've always had a. Now I will admit there are certain things in history that I've had a problem with. Yeah, that and what is now Lake Lanier, they did kind of mess over the blacks. They didn't force them out, but they bought them out.
The same thing happened when they built the railroads going east and west. They were just eminent domain and just take land from people.
Yeah, and that's always happened.
That's always been wrong.
Right. They scammed them.
CT,
they scared them, Andre. No, they didn't scare them.
CT,
They just bought them out. They say, "Okay, blacks, here goes some money." Go ahead,
CT,
Savage. Go ahead. Buddy.
You've been to North Olmsted, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beautiful.
Have you ever gotten off the highway right there at 90?
Yeah. I can't remember, but yeah, sure. I can't remember. It's been many years, man. It's been over a decade.
So
man.
North Olmsted used to be farmland, right?
Okay. Well, Ohio generally is farmland, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So when you get off the highway, right there where the plaza is, where the Home Depot is, when you go to turn, you either turn right and go towards the restaurants, or you turn left and go over the 76 highway. There's the loft building there.
Okay, go
You know what I'm
ahead.
talking about?
Not
Right where
really.
that.
Nah.
Okay, well, right there where that loft building is, my buddy's grandparents owned the property where that building's at.
Yeah.
Do you know how that building got built?
I would assume they what is it? Eminent domain.
The government came in
Yep.
and did eminent domain when they built the highway, and they
Yep.
kept the land, and then they sold it to a developer 20 years later.
Yeah.
And then they put a building there. So this same thing happens to other groups of people. It's a disingenuous statement to say that every time black people build something, they take it. Like, it happens to everybody. If they want to put a highway somewhere, they're going to take the land around it. Right now, Tim Pool just did a he just did a report on where in the corridor of Virginia, going from DC into the Maryland, West Virginia area and the West Virginia area, they're currently trying to buy up all the farmland because they're trying to put in data centers, and they can't put a data center in if they don't control the land. So they're trying to get people out of there. And that, like, this is a common thing. Buying people out is not necessarily an evil thing.
Hey, before, and I agree with you, Savage. Hey, real quick, Andrea, have you ever been to Lake Lanier?
Yes, I've been to their Christmas show.
Have you ever been on the lake itself, like the actual
No,
lake?
we don't believe in that in Atlanta. It's dangerous.
I'm not into spirits and all that shit.
Yeah, we don't believe in actually getting in
I
the
ain't gonna
water.
lie to you. When I was on that
No.
lake, I said, "Hey, I did feel something." I that was before I even knew the history of it. So
There's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
history.
I'm not a
I
culture
personally
guy.
know somebody who was victimized by that lake. So no.
And you know that lake, that lake has gotten a lot of white people up out of here.
I believe it. It got a lot of us too.
Yeah.
I was a victim. I was a victim of that lake, actually. I want to get those.
I know somebody
He died on Lake
personally
Lanier, came back
victimized
to
by it.
life. Yeah.
I
Hey,
swear.
Hafiz, Lake Lanier in Atlanta
It's dangerous.
It's like 30 some miles
CT,
away
did
from
that lake touch you?
Listen, Savage, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't know what it is about that lake, man. But
I heard Usher's son passed there. That's where
yeah,
Usher's
son died there. But it
what?
really smokes a lot of whites. Well, a lot of whites have died on that lake.
Well, yeah, we're the ones out there water skiing and
Yeah. When you
listen,
y'all
we lose
I see
people
the
every year ice
ancestors.
fishing.
I think it's the
CT, when
ancestors
you're willing
getting
to
y'all
get
up
your
out
head
of here.
wet, the lake's gonna take you out.
I was assaulted. I was SA'd on that lake by by a mermaid. Actually, it swam underneath and grabbed me while I was swimming.
Yeah.
And it
Show us
put
where the
me-
lake touched you on the dog. Go ahead.
It put me in its mouth. It was a beautiful mermaid. That's all.
Okay,
Are you
go
sure
ahead.
it was a
In
female?
the United States, who do you think gets bit by sharks more?
Oh, come on, man. White women.
Sharks, it's been recorded that sharks don't like the taste of black blood. I'm just saying.
All right, let's play some more of this video and then let's get Afro nerdy. And here we go.
The land and the houses that they built free and clear, and they destroyed those people, displaced those people, and built a park around it. There's an old song Joni Mitchell said, "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone." They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and put up Seneca Village. In Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, there's a place called Lake Lanier. It used to be a thriving black town. They decided to kill the black folks, get rid of the ones they couldn't kill, and then people right now are boating on it every weekend. That's what happened to us. That's what got destroyed. And it doesn't mean that we don't keep building, but after a while, even if you look at the flea experiment, are you familiar with the flea experiment?
The what?
The flea experiment.
No.
So the flea experiment goes like this. You take a bunch of fleas, you put them in a jar, you put the top on the jar, and you put holes in the top of the jar. After a while, the fleas will stop at the top of the jar because they get tired of smacking up against the top of the jar. Now, because you have conditioned the fleas that they're not going to go above the top of the jar, you take the top of the jar off and you never have to worry about them jumping out of the jar because they don't think there's anything above the jar. So if you have been killed, bombed, drowned, thrown out, redistrict, redlined, yeah, those.
Let me get this straight here. So this 50-year-old man just compared black race to some fleas.
Yes,
All
he
right, to a
did.
Pavlov,
No, he
to a
was
Pavlov
talking
dog
about conditioning.
experiment.
Yeah, he was
Nonsense.
talking about conditioning. It's not comparing to
Like,
fleas
it's
for crying out loud.
2025.
You compared a flea experiment with conditioning with fleas to blacks. Okay, what do you think
Mm-hmm.
about Andrea? And then let's get Afro Nerd in. Andrea, what do you think about that? A 50-year-old
Um,
man talked about a flea experiment and then
right,
compared it to the black experience. Go ahead.
right.
Andrea, what color are your panties before we get started, though?
Excuse me.
Okay, let's get you out of 777 for 5 minutes. Okay, I told you no sexual jokes. 777. Go ahead, Andrea. Yeah. Go
He
ahead.
had
No,
three comments before he went off.
I was gonna argue that I think
That was
his
so left
generation
field.
is actually part of the reason why people are still receiving that conditioning.
Yeah.
Like, right. That's all I was gonna say. I feel like his generation is part of the reason why black people are still receiving that conditioning. I don't think anyone else is telling them that they can't go past, except for these older black revolutionary people, self-proclaimed. They're the ones telling these young black people that. So I'm like, what do you even? Y'all are the ones doing the programming now, in my opinion. So
Yep.
yeah.
American man says, CT, you can climb that mountain. Don't let these fools discourage you. No, sir. No, sir. I would never, ever climb Mount Everest. Will I run an ultrathon? Yes. Will I ever climb Mount Everest? No. I don't want to die. Afro Nerd, go ahead, buddy. What do you think about Frank Zanu and Dave Anderson and these FBA goons? Go ahead, buddy.
What's up, CT?
What's going on?
So I don't think much about Zanu because I was able to kind of go through these you use the AI and do a transcription of what he says, which is what I've been doing with these people, these I guess Charlie Kirk wannabes.
Yes, sir.
When Charlie Kirk would speak to people and throw out these statistics to young freshmen in college, they didn't really have enough intellectual firepower to debate him. So he knew what he was doing, and Zanu was doing the same thing. So when I ran through, I mean, this stuff I knew instinctively, but when you're able to actually take for what he says, black folks don't have a culture and they don't have a worldview. Black Americans don't have a worldview. It doesn't pass muster. He's from Benin, right? So it's easy from someone, or really inaccurate for someone who comes from a nation state, to compare a creolized person in a creolized nation, right? So let's take black folks off the topic, right? Talk about what America is.
Yes, sir.
Right? America, I have a friend whose son is going to Oneonta, SUNY Oneonta. Oneonta is an Indian term, right? It's Indian, a Native American, pardon me. Los Angeles, right?
Yes, sir.
All these things indicate that America is a mixed mash of cultures. We eat hot dogs with sauerkraut. Hot dogs. I mean, the whole everything is not really intrinsically. It becomes American, but America is Creole. Then on top of that, you're talking about Black Americans are Creoles within a Creole nation. So you're trying to compare literally apples with oranges.
Hot dogs are meant to be with sauerkraut, though.
Let them finish.
But sauerkraut, as you know, Hafez, is.
I thought it was Jewish. Oh, I thought
German.
It was, okay, anyway, all right, go ahead.
Because hot dogs come from Brockwurst, which is German. They only changed it to hot dogs for the Second World War because they didn't want it to be associated with Germany.
The word kraut.
That's why you've got hamburgers. It's nothing to do with ham. Well,
actually,
hamburgers come from Hamburg.
Actually, sauerkraut comes from China. But anyway, let's finish.
So when I call myself a type of Creole, and you joke that, well, you're not like from the French Quarters, I'm not talking about being a French Creole or even a Haitian Creole. But even when you use those terms,
keep your camera on, Kato. I need another person to be on camera.
Even when you use those terms, Haitian Creole, French Creole, Americans Creolized, and then you're trying to Zanu comes in and wonders about a worldview, and why don't you do things from a nation state standard, and you're trying to compare that to an ethnic group in a nation. It's just dumb, and it's bad faith. So when I went through his transcript, it didn't come out too well. Much of this could be debated about Black folks not having culture, and this whole thing about abstract thinking. We're just jazz as a art form deconstructs that. Jazz is one of the most sophisticated art forms on the planet. It is America's classical music.
We
And
meant for infrastructure.
Yeah, no, not we were talking about singing and dancing and entertainment.
Hey, tight guys. John Dunning says positivity. CT. My imaginary friend that SOB made me come here and witness what insanity looks like. It's mind blowing, guys. Let Afro Nerd just finish. Let him. He just got here.
Well, look,
I'm
I'm only going to be able to tolerate going back and forth with this because it's always this negative confirmation bias. I never hear anything that's up high or low. It's always at a certain tempo on your program. It's never positive.
No. Right? I know today's a little bit different.
So I mean, that's the shtick, right?
Just go ahead, man.
Which is a Jewish word, coincidentally.
Go ahead.
All right, Hebrew. So we're not being fair. You talk about how great America is, and America is Creole. Take black folks from it, out of it. Everything is named after something else. Indian, Mexican, German, Danish. All these things make America what it is. Now all of a sudden, black folks have to play by a different rule. It is absurd. And
y'all started it though. Y'all started it. We're responding.
Let guys, please let Afro Nerd just finish. Let me finish because he always says he just cut off.
I don't know why there's even the anger or this need to rebuff what I'm saying. We could just look this up. We can go by what you feel, how you feel. I don't do the feelings. I do the data. I go to things I can look feelings. Up. I believe in being able to go to books. You talk about quote unquote smarty arty, and yet you want people. How are you making fun of what is smarty arty, but then you want black folks to be more smarty arty? It's a cyclical, nonsensical thing. I'm confused.
So how much of the interview did you actually watch?
I watched several interviews with this guy.
Okay, so this is
I'm familiar with Frank Zano as the journalist.
Yeah.
And when I went through, I also did the algorithm on him for about 3 shows, and every time he misses the mark. When he says black folks don't have a worldview, that's not really accurate.
Okay.
Right? Matter of fact, when you think about what we know to be liberation, the concept of liberation, whether it was from the sleeping car porters, which predated Dr. King's movement, Black Liberation Movement, other nation states look at that and defer to Dr. King and Malcolm X. That's a culture coming out of the call and response of gospel music, and the black church is a culture. HBCUs and all those intellects that came from HBCUs that were black ivies, that was a culture. Right, so it's the science that came out of these were things that black people did with a weight on them. Now we can lie about the weight, or we could just read a book. We can read eyewitnesses. We can talk to people that lived during this time period. We can lie. We act as if black folks didn't go through something and they didn't have to, and that people died, that you didn't have J. Edgar Hoover on your ass, like all this stuff, which is make believe. And now we're talking about, okay, Nick Rose, it's 2025. All that stuff that got us here. See, I'm just confused on it. I'm going to land the plane here. When you see a young Peter Jennings, the late Peter Jennings, 1968, he's going to Jersey. He's not going to Alabama. He's going to Jersey, and he's asking predominantly whites in Jersey how they felt about Dr. King being killed. They had this very nonchalant thing. He was Charlie Kirk to them. And now, fast forward 60 years later, Republicans use him all the time. Well, we got to be like Dr. King.
Yeah.
Dr. King is in the grave. At the time, he's the most dangerous man on the planet, discussing peace. He gets killed for just talking. Right? So these things, either you have to acknowledge that black people had to do certain things to move the needle forward, or it never happened, and we're going to do what you're doing, saying, Emmett Till was the alien autopsy. It was make-believe. It's Star Wars. So you're discussing things. You have a Black History degree.
I thought you were landing the
Did
plane.
he just compare MLK to Charlie Kirk?
No. See, his anger says a lot. Why is it that what I say, which you can read a book,
let him finish.
You are so angry about it because you want to be excused for the BS. You want to be able to continue being comfortable in this comfort food that Chaotic Truth provides you in being racist. You feel comfortable. It's allowing you to get that wet dream off for a whole bunch of reasons that, we know what you do, but you seem to get off on this. So it's pretty evident who you are and what you are. You're a beast. And I've seen the movie before when you transform.
No, sir. I just
guys, let him
judge
just
you by
finish.
your character.
Let him just finish.
Don't use Dr. King's words now.
Let him finish.
That's the trick bag. At the time, he was killed for saying those words. Now, 60 years later, you say it like it's cute. He had to die in order for you to come up here and joke about it. Everything that happened with these leaders that were killed.
Go ahead.
I can't tell with you. So all I'm going to say is continue doing your
I
broadcast.
have a dream.
Right? So he's making fun of this stuff, but in real time, people dying, and you're wondering why you consider people not excelling. They are performing under duress. These things we were prevented. You're talking about.
Okay, how about this?
I thought you were laying the fucking plane.
Hold on. Okay, hold on, Savage. In terms of Frank Zanu and the actual interview, can you ask a question that pertains to that interview with what Afro Nerd is talking about? Go ahead, buddy.
He ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. So you were just talking about culture. So who started the liberation culture?
Yeah, it's gonna be Black liberation culture. We're talking about what Black
It was inspired.
Yeah. So where did the start of the liberation culture come from?
Be more specific.
Well, no, you said that liberation was a Black thing. That was your creation.
No.
So
what I said was Black. Well, no, what I said was Black liberation, its own version of it, inspired people. Right. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. So when you saw what happened in South Africa under apartheid, right? I saw footage of Winnie Mandela meeting Betty Shabazz for the first time. She saw this woman, Dr. Betty Shabazz, pardon me. Dr. Betty Shabazz says, I'm Dr. Betty Shabazz. You may know me, but I'm also the wife of Malcolm X. This woman had a connection. She saw the connection. So we've heard people from other African nations that looked upon Black people, how they were, how they. You don't like the answer.
That's a direct answer.
It's always going to be the same thing.
Can I say something?
How's it
never going to be the right answer?
If I ask you who started something and you talk about something that happened after the thing we're talking about?
Afro Nerd has perfected
say
the art of saying 500 words to actually say.
Andrea, are you able to?
I kind of want to address what he just said.
Interview with
Right.
Any questions for Afro Nerd?
I think so. Yeah. I want to say, before you came, I think we all acknowledged that Black people have contributed to the structure in America. We're not denying that. Our issue is that it seems like y'all are going out of your way to distort history. That other guy who, Mr. Dave, the singer, the musician, they were trying to claim that essentially they built everything on their own. And that's where our pushback is that we acknowledge that it does seem that the most successful societies do have multiculturalism. We're not saying that you didn't contribute, but to distort the narrative and say that you did it all by yourself and then you marched to bring other ethnicities. Y'all didn't march for that. You guys were marching so that you can share spaces with the people that you guys claim that you hate. Right.
I will say this.
Why are you?
Sorry, CT. Can I just say this one thing? It's not multiculturalism. I disagree with that. It is monoculturalism, ethnicities.
Okay,
you can have a society of multiple ethnicities, but there will have to be an overarching culture, and that in America specifically was an European Protestant culture.
Yeah, that's absolutely not true. Even in the 13 colonies, we had Catholic.
Hold on for a second. Let Afro Nerd address.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. We had Catholics in the Americas. You got to know your own white history, right? The Irish and the Scottish weren't Protestant. Let's nip that in the bud right there. Let's
But
stick to the
Yeah,
facts
so
after nerd talk.
Well, I thought that's why they came here.
that's
Was
not
to
that's not true.
It's not up for debate whether or not it's true. There were documented Catholics in America since the 13th colonies. We're gonna move on. Afro nerd.
But that still doesn't mean anything. The overall culture was a
Maryland.
European
The
Protestant
colony
culture.
Maryland. Remember that the colony Maryland, and both the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, there was one Catholic person each. They were here in smaller numbers, but Catholics have been here.
Let Afro Nerd respond to Andrea. Go ahead, Afro Nerd.
Well, I'm uncomfortable with her, how she's positioning the civil rights movement and some of the struggles that African Americans went through. Like, you can't be the beneficiary of it in the modern sense, right? You can't be the beneficiary of where we are today and then be a Monday morning quarterback with it, right? Because we have to understand that we're talking about a segregated society. And it wasn't so simple to say that, oh, well, you just want to be in close proximity to white people.
well,
That's
we're
the
all in
discussion.
Europe. We're in Europe and we're in Asia. There's a bunch of Africans there. There was never any what you're describing. So why are we there then?
Well, you're
If we needed a
discussing.
civil rights movement, they're all in Malaysia. They're all in Northern Africa. They're all in Europe. They're all in these Arab nations. They're in the United Arab Emirates. Why are they able to be there without the civil rights?
That's a good
Okay,
question,
Right.
Afro Nerd.
It's an awful
They
question.
White people let us
It's
in. That's
awful.
what happened. Just be
No,
honest.
hey, Afro
After
Nerd, that
the
is a good
civil
question. I
rights
mean, considering
No,
the
it's
fact
not.
the UK, well, hold on. In all fairness, the UK was one of the first Western nation states to abolish slavery. In all fairness, bro, that is, I mean, the civil
Right,
rights
make
movement
it
had
make
nothing to
sense.
do.
No, but like being fair is
Guys, Kato, guys, please don't cut me off.
The UK ended the transatlantic slave trade. So from the UK to the Americas, they then went right directly to India. There was no need for them to continue the transatlantic slave trade. They lost the colonies, they lost the war, and they were pressed. But like I
But wait, what
mentioned
does
to
this
you
have to do with the
earlier,
United States?
their focus was always India. And they actually moved more Indians around the world. Think of Kamala,
That's true.
think of South Africa, think of Guyana. You see, there's Indians, think of Uganda. We don't know because we don't study this history
Tanzania.
as Americans. Thank you. We don't study this history as Americans. We don't know what happened to the UK really after the War of 1812. They basically disappear from our curriculum, our history curriculum, until we move into the Industrial Revolution.
Well,
Until we start learning like
Within the
capitalism,
United States,
economics.
after the Civil War, they passed legislation for non-white immigration. It's not up for debate. It is a historical fact. You can all Google it.
Hold on.
Who's they? Who passed it?
Hold on,
Who
Byron with
passed
the
it?
$2 super chat says
Who passed
FBA
the legislation?
did invent potato chips,
Not you.
which is industry. Yes, blacks did invent the potato chip. That is definitely true. Afro Nerd, real quick, why doesn't the freedoms and she brought up a good question. What about other parts of the planet where blacks were free to go and they had rights that predate even the civil rights movement?
Well, first of all, you're talking about different nation states and different, you're talking about segregation, which occurred. You had apartheid in this country, right? Apartheid ended in South Africa, what, 1990?
Yeah, that is true.
So you're literally comparing apples and oranges. What happened in the UK, which was favorable, obviously, to blacks and the black British people, is that you didn't have really segregation. Like, you had racial animus there, but not to the degree that it was in the Americas, where you had to separate people. Matter of fact, that's why you end up with African American vernacular and English, because you notice that the black British folk, that their lexicon is not that distinct or different the way that black Americans, the patois with black Americans is a little different because they were separated. The UK, blacks and whites were a little bit more intermingled, and therefore you even see Paul Robeson walking around with a white woman in 1930. Let him try to do that in America 1930. So they were ahead, just like comparing 1980 America with 1980 South Africa. You're talking about separate segregated communities. So comparing an African in Russia versus a black American in Mississippi in 1942, apples and oranges, man.
She dropped off. Go ahead, Kato.
Of course.
Oh no, Andrea's back. Andrea, go ahead. Go ahead. Andrea.
Oh, she's having connection issues.
Yeah. Either going to be honest about the history, or we're going to start lying.
Luis, get on camera for me, man. There's too many people off camera. Luis, I see you in the back. Get on camera.
But yeah, I mean,
Andrea, you there? Thank you so much, Luis.
Oh, Andrea's back. Never mind.
Yeah, my thing was.
Go ahead, Andrea. Did you hear what he said?
No, my thing was breaking up. I'm sorry.
You want to repeat that?
No, what I was saying is, Andrea, you're comparing these different nation states, and you're not factoring in that each nation state had their own their distinctions. America had segregation. Even South Africa had segregation. Rhodesia had segregation. Right. So black people, their movement was different. A UK Brit, a black Brit in 1930 was already he was neighbors with white people. They didn't have de facto segregation in the UK, not to the degree that we saw in the Americas. It was different. You even the language style is different. They weren't separated like that. Blacks and whites were neighbors in the UK, so much so that their language, they share a common language. And in the Americas, black English is distinct from how whites speak. We're separated people. Segregation, period. Kung Fu, you can look this up. I'm not making it up. African American English, or Ebonics, there's a reason why it exists. It exists because of segregation, of a separateness. Why isn't there a type of Ebonics, large scale, in the UK? Because slavery ended much earlier, and blacks and whites intermingled a bit more freely.
I would say there is a difference in England.
No, I'm answering Andrea's question. She's saying why did the blacks, why were they able to kind of navigate, Africans were able to navigate other nations?
Blacks and English people.